How does the Milky Way connect us across time? What draws humanity onward into space despite cosmic solitude? Above, a river of pale light sweeps across the sky. The Milky Way. It arches from horizon to horizon, a gauzy band of starlight suspended in the darkness. In this tranquil moment, you feel the weight of the day fall away, replaced by a sense of calm wonder. You gaze upward, eyes tracing the shimmering arc. Countless stars are woven together there, their faint glows merging into a soft, nebulous glow. There is something timeless about this view, the same celestial panorama our ancestors once admired on clear nights long ago. Perhaps they stood on nights like this, gazing up in awe, spinning stories about the ghostly river of light above. Some imagined it as the spilled milk of a goddess strewn across the heavens, others as the backbone of the night sky holding the celestial sphere together. Under its gentle glow, generations have wondered and dreamed. Here and now, you simply breathe and take it all in. Each pinpoint of light up there is a distant sun, and together they form the grand structure of our galaxy. The Milky Way's glow is faint but steady, a comforting presence in the darkness. It hints at wonders beyond number, hidden within that misty band. Standing in its silvery radiance, you sense how vast the cosmos truly is, and how small our world is by comparison. Yet rather than feeling insignificant, you feel connected, a tiny part of something immense and beautiful. Your gaze drifts toward the thickest, brightest stretch of the Milky Way, where the band of light grows wider and more luminous. This is the direction of the galactic center, somewhere in the constellation Sagittarius, low on the horizon at this hour. You cannot see the core of the galaxy directly. It lies hidden behind veils of interstellar dust. Still, you know that far, far away, at the heart of this starry river, lies a crowded hub of stars. Millions upon millions of suns orbit there in a great central bulge, and deep in that mysterious heart lurks a supermassive black hole in silent darkness. The thought of this hidden core of stars, and the dark giant spinning quietly at the center, fills you with gentle awe and curiosity. In the quiet of the night, under the watch of countless stars, you feel a subtle pull. It's as if the galactic center itself is softly beckoning to your imagination. You close your eyes for a moment and let your mind wander toward that distant core. In your mind's eye, the Milky Way comes alive. You envision stars swirling like glowing embers around an unseen center, orbiting patiently over eons. The image is mesmerizing and a little mysterious. You feel yourself drawn into it, your heart and thoughts drifting toward that far-off point of light in the sky. Your thoughts begin to drift as you remain there, relaxed and at peace. After a while, you find a comfortable spot to lie down, perhaps on the soft grass or a smooth, warm rock, with your hands behind your head, still gazing upward. The earth is solid and familiar beneath you, grounding you even as your mind wanders among the stars. You take slow, deep breaths, feeling the cool night air fill your lungs, and then release. With each exhale, you let go of any lingering tension. Above, the Milky Way shines patiently, as it has for millions of nights. It seems almost alive, watching over you and gently inviting you to explore its secrets within the safety of your imagination. As the night wears on, your eyelids grow heavy. The multitude of stars blurs softly as your eyes moisten and relax. You allow them to close, still picturing the cosmic vista above. The afterimage of the Milky Way dances on the inside of your eyelids, a faint, milky glow sprinkled with countless sparkling points. You yawn quietly, your body and mind completely at ease. Wrapped in the tranquility of the night, you hover at the border between wakefulness and dreams, feeling calm, safe, and curious all at once. In this liminal state, a vision begins to form behind your closed eyes. You imagine yourself no longer lying on the hillside, but rising gently, weightlessly, into the starry sky. The world below starts to fade away. The soft grass and solid earth that were beneath you seem to melt into the background, and by some quiet magic of the night, you begin to float upward toward the stars. You feel no fear, only peace and wonder as you lift off from the ground as lightly as a dandelion seed caught in a breeze. The Milky Way above grows brighter and larger as you approach it, as though it's welcoming you into its embrace. Higher and higher you drift, leaving the familiar ground behind. The landscape below stretches out softly. In the faint glow of starlight, the hills and forests of your sleeping world shrink and blur into a patchwork of dark shapes. The air grows thin and cool around you, and the sky above deepens from midnight blue to velvet black. One by one, the last traces of Earth's atmosphere fall away. A few wispy clouds remain far beneath you, glowing dimly in the scattered moonglow before they too fade from view. Soon, even the twinkling lights of the distant town disappear, swallowed by the darkness. The boundary between Earth and space quietly dissolves, and you find yourself rising into the pure night sky. Now you are floating in the heavens themselves. Stars that once seemed fixed and faint now surround you in every direction, nearer and more vivid. It's as if you've slipped into a silent cosmic ocean filled with glittering plankton. Each star shines steady and clear, no longer twinkling through an atmosphere, but burning with a true light. You notice some stars have hints of colour. One may glow softly orange, another blue-white, each a distant sun with its own story. The Milky Way is no longer just a band above. It envelops you. You are immersed in a sea of stars. For a moment, you simply float there, weightless and serene, awash in starlight. Earth is far below you now, an almost forgotten memory of blue and green. In this lofty dreamscape, you are a traveller in space, untethered, peaceful, and free. Before you, in the distance, the soft glow of the Milky Way's core beckons with greater clarity. Though still unimaginably far, in this dreamlike journey, you perceive a hint of its golden light, diffused behind distant clouds of dust. It looks like a warm, glowing hearth at the end of an endless corridor of stars, inviting and mysterious. The idea of drawing nearer to that heart of the galaxy fills you with quiet excitement. In this state, where anything seems possible, the once unreachable core of our Milky Way now feels within reach, as though it's patiently waiting for you to arrive when the time is right. Gently, you allow your curiosity to guide you forward. With no effort at all, you begin drifting in the direction of that subtle golden glow. The stars around you slowly shift as you move among them. Here and there, as you glide, points of light stretch into tiny streaks, hinting that you are moving faster now, though everything remains calm and unhurried. A deep silence surrounds you, not an absence, but a presence of quiet. You become aware of your own steady breathing and the soft thump of your heart within your chest. It is almost as if you can sense a faint background music, too delicate to hear with ears, but detectable with your soul, the gentle hum of the cosmos. Perhaps it's the collective whisper of millions of distant stars, or the echo of your own wonder. Whatever it is, it comforts you and reassures you that you are not alone. You are a part of this grand, silent symphony. Time behaves differently here. Minutes or hours might pass, but it's of no concern. Drifting further from the life you knew and deeper into space, you remain completely in the present. Thoughts of schedules or worries evaporate. There is only the now, this eternal, gentle now. You have all the time you need, and the stars seem in no hurry either. With each slow breath, you feel more open and at ease. The glittering path ahead and the soft darkness around you are all that exist, and you embrace the freedom from clocks and deadlines. As you journey onward, you sense a guiding presence, as though the universe itself is a quiet companion by your side. Maybe it's the echo of your own curiosity, or the memory of all the dreamers and explorers who came before you. It whispers encouragement. You imagine the voice of the cosmos, wordless yet clear, inviting you to explore and reassuring you that you are on the right path. You trust it. You let the starlight lead you, following the faint glimmer of far-off suns as if they were trail markers in the night, each one lighting the way a little further. Every so often, you catch sight of something remarkable at the edge of your vision. Perhaps it's a cluster of young stars, shining like a pocket of diamonds in the darkness, or a distant nebula, a softly glowing cloud of gas, adding a wash of ethereal colour to the black. You drift past these wonders quietly, allowing them to grace your journey without needing to stop. Each one is a treasure tucked amid the stars, hinting at the countless marvels that exist in this galaxy. You observe them with gentle admiration, then continue on your way, ever drawn toward the subtle light ahead at the galaxy's center. You don't hurry. There is no need to rush. Out here, all is timing and balance. You savor each new sight as it comes, then let it go. This journey was born from wonder, a voyage that began with a simple gaze at the night sky, and now it continues among the stars themselves, as unhurried as the turning of the heavens. There is a profound sense of purpose without urgency. You are exactly where you need to be, moving at the pace of the cosmos. Floating in this gentle way, you feel a profound sense of freedom and peace. The usual boundaries, up and down, day and night, hours and years, have little meaning out here. Without gravity's pull, without time's pressure, you are simply being. You sense that you could travel like this forever, gliding through the starry quiet. Guided by the silent allure of the cosmos, you remain calm and open-hearted, taking in the beauty around you with every slow breath. At this moment, you are completely content. You drift in the cosmic dark, mind and heart filled with wonder, letting the universe carry you wherever it wishes at its own gentle pace. There is a trust that has formed, a trust in the journey itself. Cradled by starlight and curiosity, you are at peace, ready for whatever lies ahead. After what feels like a timeless interval drifting among the stars, something new draws your attention. You turn slowly in the weightless void and notice a gentle blue shimmer far behind you, trailing along your path. At first, it's just a tiny glint against the darkness, but it gradually becomes more distinct. glowing with a familiar soft light. A warm recognition blooms in your chest as you realize what it is. The Earth, your home, now a delicate blue jewel hanging in the vastness of space. Suspended in the cosmic dark, Earth looks small and fragile, yet breathtakingly beautiful. You can see the rich blue of its oceans and the white swirls of clouds draped over its surface. Along the curved edge of the planet, where day meets night, a faint golden halo hints at a sunrise or sunset in progress. The part of Earth turned away from the sun lies in gentle darkness, but near the poles you catch a subtle glow of green and purple, the auroras dancing silently in the upper atmosphere. They shimmer like celestial nightlights, a reminder that even in darkness, Earth has its gentle luminescence. For a moment, you simply float there in silence, gazing at the world that is so dear to you. From this distance, no borders or cities are visible, just a marbled sphere of blue oceans, white clouds, and brown-green lands, all swathed in the thin shell of atmosphere. A profound feeling of love and gratitude wells up inside you as you behold your home from afar. All the memories of gentle breezes, ocean waves, and warm sunlight on your skin, the laughter of loved ones, and the comfort of familiar places, they all live on that tiny blue world. You carry those memories with you as a precious warmth in your heart. In the quiet of space, you whisper a silent thank you to Earth for being your cradle, your home, the place that birthed you, and all that you know. In response, the Earth seems to twinkle at you, ever so softly. Perhaps a tilt of your perspective causes the sun's light to catch on a distant ocean or an ice cap, sending a brief, star-like glint in your direction. In your heart, you choose to believe it's Earth's way of saying, "You're welcome," and safe travels. You smile, a mix of happiness and poignancy touching your face. With a gentle nod of farewell, you turn your gaze away from the beloved blue planet and back toward the stars ahead. Drifting onward, you soon pass beyond the orbit of the moon, which for eons has kept watch over Earth's nights. The moon itself appears as a pale silver-grey disk, a short distance from Earth. In this moment, it might be a crescent, or a half-moon, glowing softly with reflected sunlight. Its surface is marked with familiar dark maria and bright craters, though from here those details are subtle. As you glide past the moon's path, the lunar orb hangs quietly in space, as if offering its own calm goodbye. You recall how its gentle light once illuminated your path on dark nights, and you send a grateful thought to this faithful companion of Earth. The moon will continue to serenely circle your homeworld, even as you venture farther away. Ahead of you, the sun, the star that warms and illuminates the world you left, still beckons, though its appearance has changed. As you travel farther from it, the sun has diminished from the overpowering golden disk you knew in Earth's sky to a far smaller but fiercely bright point of light. It shines like a brilliant white star against the blackness, unmistakable in its intensity. Its rays reach you still, a reminder of its presence, though the warmth is greatly reduced. You glance back at it now and then, comforted by its distant glow. It lights the path in front of you in a gentle way, casting a very subtle sheen on dust and faint gas particles in the space around. Encircling that distant sun, the planets continue their eternal dance. Closer to the sun's glare, within the orbit's interior to Earth's, Mercury and Venus remain unseen from your vantage. They are lost in the sunshine, hidden by the star's brightness. You know Mercury is there, a small, cratered world scorched by the sun. And Venus, with its veil of clouds, is closer to the sun, on the other side of our orbit now. You remember how Venus used to shine brilliantly during evenings or before dawn, the evening star that outshone everything except the moon. Though you cannot see those inner planets now, it's comforting to think of them circling close to the sun, keeping the inner solar system company. You have now truly left the immediate neighborhood of Earth and the moon. It feels as though you've stepped off the shore of a familiar island and onto the open cosmic sea. The sun, that bright island of light and life, lies behind you, and you venture toward the unknown expanse with it at your back. A gentle thrill courses through you, a mixture of excitement and reverence, as you realize how far from home you are now. And yet, you don't feel lost. The sun's distant light still guides you, a tiny beacon behind your shoulder, and the love and knowledge from Earth still glow inside you. With these comforts, the unknown space ahead feels inviting rather than intimidating. You allow yourself a final, lingering glance over your shoulder. In the far distance, the sun glimmers like a lone jewel on black velvet. If you look very carefully, you can just barely make out a tiny bluish speck near it. Earth. And perhaps a tinier silvery speck. The moon. Though by now they might be too faint to distinguish. They are all clustered in a tiny patch of sky, almost lost among the multitude of stars. You breathe a soft goodbye to that brilliant star and the little world orbiting it that you call home. It's a tender, heartfelt goodbye, not forever, but for now. Turning back to the vast darkness ahead, you feel a surge of determination and wonder. You are a voyager leaving home truly behind, stepping into the wider cosmos. With the sun's warm glow now just a fond memory at your back, you face forward into the sea of stars, calm and resolved, ready for the next leg of your journey. As you continue outward on your cosmic journey, the first planet you encounter is Mars, the red planet. It appears ahead as a tiny amber star that gradually grows into a distinct, dusty sphere as you draw nearer. Mars glows with a soft, rust-colored light, its surface coated in iron-rich soil that gives it that familiar, ruddy hue. As you approach in silence, subtle details come into view on this quiet world. You see darker maroon patches where ancient plains and weathered volcanoes spread, and at the poles you notice bright caps of white frost catching the sunlight. Mars has captivated human imagination for centuries, shining in our night sky with a steady, reddish light, and inspiring tales of distant war gods and thoughts of extraterrestrial life. Yet up close now, Mars seems peaceful and still, a world of silent deserts and deep twilight. You float just above the Martian landscape as you pass, careful not to disturb its timeless repose. Below you, the great canyon system of Valles Marineris cuts across the planet's face, a chasm so vast that it would stretch from coast to coast if it were on Earth. In the dim light, this canyon lies in deep shadow, an enormously long gash in the dusty terrain, as if Mars itself cracked open ages ago. The sight is humbling. The canyon's sheer scale speaks to ancient titanic forces, now long dormant under Mars's quiet sky. Far to the west of the canyon, you spot Olympus Mons rising on the horizon. It's the tallest volcano in the solar system, a mountain so wide at its base that an entire country could fit on it, and so lofty that it pokes above the thin Martian atmosphere. From your vantage point, Olympus Mons appears as a gentle bulge on the planet's curvature. Its slopes are so gradual that only the faint outline against space and a subtle change in texture reveal its presence. The peak of this colossal volcano catches a faint highlight from the distant sun, glowing just a touch more brightly than the surrounding plains. Though it towers 22 kilometers above the Martian surface, here it seems a quiet giant, its caldera resting under a sky full of stars. Olympus Mons has likely been dormant for millions of years, a sleeping giant watching over the red plains. You drift by, feeling a sense of respect for this magnificent mountain that has seen so much time pass in silence. For a brief moment, something small darts across your peripheral vision. Turning slightly, you notice a tiny moon hurrying around Mars. It's Phobos, one of Mars's 2 miniature moons. In contrast to Earth's large round moon, Phobos is a lumpy, potato-shaped rock, so small that you could walk its circumference in a few hours. It orbits remarkably close to Mars and races around the planet, completing a full circle in just about 8 hours. Right now, it appears as a little moving star, silhouetted against the ruddy backdrop of Mars, scurrying along on its orbital path. Mars's other moon, Deimos, is farther out and moving more slowly. It's likely hidden in the darkness at the moment, perhaps a faint speck you might miss if you didn't know it was there. These tiny moons have been Mars's companions for eons, destined eventually to spiral inward. You watch Phobos for a quiet moment as it swiftly traverses the sky. Then you turn your gaze forward once more, leaving the red planet and its pebble-like moons to continue their patient orbit around the sun. Leaving Mars behind, you venture into the asteroid belt, a vast expanse of space scattered with countless remnants of the solar system's formation. Here, the emptiness of space becomes subtly populated with rocks and debris of all shapes and sizes. The darkness around you is still immense and mostly empty. But now, there are occasional glints as sunlight catches the surfaces of distant tumbling stones. These asteroids are like ancient wandering ships, each on its own path around the sun, relics from a time when planets were still forming. As you glide deeper into this region, you notice one such asteroid passing not far from your route. It's an irregular, rugged chunk of rock, perhaps a few kilometers across. Sunlight outlines its craggy edges as it slowly rotates end over end. You can see countless craters pitting its surface, evidence of eons of quiet collisions in this sparse asteroid population. One side of the asteroid is illuminated, revealing a dull grey-brown surface. The other side falls into shadow. It looks peaceful, this solitary rock, silently spinning against the starry backdrop. In the stillness of space, even a collision-scarred asteroid seems to be in a state of meditative calm. You float by it gently, imagining the long history it carries, a piece of primordial matter that never became part of a planet, drifting here since the earliest days of the solar system. Among these countless wanderers is one especially large asteroid, big enough that gravity has shaped it into a rough sphere over the ages. For a moment, you wonder if it might be Ceres, the dwarf planet of the asteroid belt, or perhaps another notable giant like Vesta or Pallas. It appears as a softly curving mini-world, much smaller than our moon, but still significant in this realm of fragments. On its surface you can make out hints of lighter and darker regions, possibly large craters, patches of reflective salt or ice, or ancient impact basins. This little world has enough mass to tug itself into a more rounded shape, distinguishing it from its jagged neighbours. You glide by quietly, paying respects to this diminutive planetesimal that holds a tiny echo of planethood. In the grand darkness, it's just another faint grey object. But up close, it has its own landscapes, and perhaps even a tenuous mystery or two. Scientists on Earth discovered bright spots on Ceres, signs of something geologically intriguing beneath its surface. It reminds you that even the smallest places can hold wonders. In the silent emptiness, these rocks and dwarf planets float on, undisturbed and seldom visited, like an old gallery of cosmic art pieces, each one unique. Emerging from the asteroid belt, a magnificent giant greets you. Jupiter, the king of planets, appears ahead as a massive, striped sphere suspended in the void. Even from a distance, Jupiter's presence is commanding. Its banded atmosphere, striped in shades of white, pale yellow, tan, and reddish-brown, wraps around the planet like a beautifully marbled fabric. As you draw closer, those bands resolve into whirling clouds and eddies. You can see storms within the stripes, swirling and blending as they drift along in Jupiter's fast rotation. Among them, the great red spot stands out, an enormous oval storm, a deep, rusty red eye set against bands of white and ochre. Although it is a ferocious tempest large enough to swallow the Earth, from your peaceful vantage it appears almost calm, a timeless feature slowly turning with the planet. Despite the perpetual turbulence in its clouds, the sight of Jupiter from space carries a grand serenity. The planet is so large, so ponderous in its slow rotation, that its changes seem measured in a different timescale. Jupiter completes one turn on its axis in about 10 hours, so you can actually see the motion of its clouds as time passes. Along the curved edge of the planet, the line between night and day, the terminator, glides continuously, bringing dawn to parts of the cloud tops and dusk to others. The day side of Jupiter is a brilliant tapestry of swirling clouds lit by the sun. The night side, hidden from view, would be dark if not for occasional brief flashes of lightning within deep storms, tiny sparks hinting at nature's power below. At Jupiter's poles, you catch sight of a subtle, ghostly glow, the planet's auroras. Rings of soft blue light shimmer above the poles, caused by charged particles from the sun, funneled down by Jupiter's immense magnetic field. These auroras are many times more energetic than Earth's, yet from space they present a tranquil light show, a pale electric blue halo that pulses and dances silently over the giant world's atmosphere. It's a reminder that even in Jupiter's seeming calm, dynamic forces are at work. You watch these polar lights for a while, entranced by their gentle flickering in the darkness. Orbiting Jupiter are dozens of moons, large and small, making the Jovian system a miniature solar system of its own. As you coast through the outer reaches of Jupiter's realm, several of its major moons come into view. First is Europa, shining bright and whitish against the black of space. Europa's surface is covered in smooth ice, crisscrossed by long, dark lines like cracks in a frozen pond. This moon holds an ocean beneath its icy shell, and those lines hint at the tides and movements of water below. Europa reflects the sunlight brilliantly, a pearl of the Jovian system, carrying within it the promise of perhaps some form of life in its hidden sea. Not far from Europa orbits Ganymede, the largest moon in the solar system. Ganymede presents a darker, more mottled appearance. You can discern broad light and dark regions on its surface, some areas bright with ancient ice, others darker with rocky terrain. Ganymede even has a faint magnetic field of its own, unique among moons, hinting at a metallic core inside. It's a world unto itself, larger than the planet Mercury, quietly circling its giant parent. Ganymede moves with a steady grace, locked in a rhythmic orbital dance alongside its fellow moons. As you move beyond Ganymede, another of Jupiter's moons peeks out from behind the planet. Fiery Io. Io is a world of volcanoes, its surface a wild canvas of yellows, oranges, and blacks. Even from a distance, you can see patches of vibrant colour on Io's face. These are sulfur and other volcanic deposits that have been sprayed out from its countless eruptions. Io is the most volcanically active place in the solar system, its interior flexed and heated by Jupiter's gravity. Although you can't see the eruptions from here, you imagine how, at any given time, multiple volcanoes on Io are likely spewing fountains of molten sulfur high into the thin atmosphere. For now, Io hangs as a strangely painted orb, its turbulent personality masked by the silence of the vacuum. Further out, you glimpse Callisto, orbiting at the fringes of Jupiter's domain. Callisto is ancient, heavily cratered, and dark. It's the most distant of the 4 large Galilean moons and the least changed over billions of years, essentially a cosmic time capsule. Its surface is freckled with bright rings of impact scars against a charcoal grey background. Callisto has no fiery volcanoes or subsurface oceans. It's a quiet, cold world that simply bears witness to time. It reflects the sunlight weekly, a dusky round dot accompanying Jupiter on its journey. As you float farther away, you appreciate the silent choreography of Jupiter's moons, all keeping time in their orbits. Io, Europa, Ganymede, Callisto, each influencing the others with gentle gravitational tugs, locked in a resonance that has them repeating patterns every few orbits. It's a harmonious dance that has persisted for eons. After offering a silent farewell to Jupiter and its marvelous family of moons, you press onward. Soon, a pale golden light appears in the distance. Saturn, the jewel of the solar system. Saturn's presence grows as you approach, and with it, the stunning vision of its rings. Even from afar, Saturn's rings make it unmistakable. A broad, flat disk of ice and rock encircling a planet adorned in hues of honey and buttermilk. Your heart swells at the sight, for Saturn is truly a wonder to behold. Drawing nearer, you become immersed in the grandeur of those rings. You glide toward the plane of the rings, and then slightly above them, looking down as they spread out beneath you like a celestial record. Up close, what seemed like a solid band from a distance reveals itself as countless individual particles, chunks of ice, some as tiny as pebbles, others as big as boulders. They are all orbiting in a near-perfect plane, billions of little moons tracing endless paths around Saturn. The sunlight hits them at just the right angle, and suddenly you feel as if you are floating above a luminous whirlpool of glitter. The rings shine a pristine white where they are thickest, and fade to a translucent haze at their thinnest. You are awed by their delicacy and the sheer scale. The main rings span over 270,000 kilometers from the planet, yet they are incredibly thin, only tens of meters thick in places. It's like an impossibly large, flat rainbow made of ice, without color, just pure, sparkling ice white. You drift slowly over the rings, watching patterns play across them. You notice that the rings aren't uniform. There are gaps and divisions. One especially noticeable gap, the Cassini division, appears as a thin, dark band running within the rings, carving them into separate sections. This gap exists because of Saturn's moons. Their gravities create resonances that clear out certain orbits, sculpting the ring particles into this beautiful, detailed structure. Beyond the major gap, more rings continue, slightly dimmer, until they fade into tenuous wisps at the edges. The intricacy of it all is mesmerizing. Shadows from the ring particles create subtle textures and stripes of light and dark within the rings themselves, an interplay of illumination that would be invisible from far away. Just below this brilliant disk lies Saturn itself, and you take a moment to appreciate the planet. Saturn's sphere is a gentle golden color, banded with hints of white and butterscotch stripes. Its features are more subdued than Jupiter's tumultuous bands, but they're there. Broad bands near the equator and a more homogeneous hue toward the poles. Saturn's upper cloud layers are mostly ammonia crystals, giving it that pale golden hue. You see a few faint oval storms, and perhaps a slight north-south asymmetry where the ring's shadow falls. The rings cast a wide shadow across Saturn's northern hemisphere at this time, a dark, diffuse band of twilight that wraps around the planet. It gives Saturn a tranquil, almost sleepy appearance, as if wearing a sash of dusk. The scene is deeply calming. The enormity of Saturn and the grace of its rings combine into a vision of cosmic elegance. Surrounding Saturn, you notice points of light, its numerous moons. The largest, Titan, is impossible to miss. An orange-tinted sphere not far from Saturn, shrouded in a thick atmosphere. Titan's hazy air hides its surface completely from view, but you know beneath those clouds lie rivers and lakes of liquid methane and vast dunes of hydrocarbon sand. It's a cold world, but a geologically active and complex one. Here and now, Titan is simply a softly glowing orb, keeping its lordly planet company, like a lantern hanging near a grand chandelier. Spread farther out are Saturn's smaller moons, icy Rhea, bright Dione, and Tethys, little Mimas with its giant crater, Iapetus with one dark face and one bright, and Enceladus, a tiny, brilliant white moon nearer the rings. Enceladus especially intrigues you. If you squint, you imagine you can see the fine mist of water ice geysers at its south pole, the geysers that feed Saturn's E-ring with icy particles. Of course, at this distance, that's beyond eyesight, but knowing it's happening adds to the wonder. Each moon contributes to the dynamism of the Saturnian system, shepherding rings, creating waves in the particles, and telling a story of gravity and time. You spend a while in silent admiration of Saturn and its retinue. It feels almost sacred here, as if you are in a great cosmic cathedral, with Saturn's rings as vast stained glass windows filtering the sun's light into soft radiance. There is an abiding peace, and you absorb it gratefully. At length, you realize it's time to continue. With one last, loving glance at the shimmering rings and the golden planet they adorn, you drift onward, carrying the serenity of Saturn's realm with you. Your journey now takes you further outward, where the sun's light grows fainter and the planets more elusive. Next are Uranus and Neptune, the twin ice giants that guard the far reaches of our solar system. After some travel through the darkness, a small turquoise dot appears ahead, Uranus. Uranus is unique for its tilt. The planet rotates on its side relative to its orbit. But from your perspective in space, that tilt doesn't manifest visually, except in the orientation of its faint rings and moons. As you approach, Uranus comes into focus as a smooth, pale, blue-green sphere, almost uniform in color. There are no striking storms or vivid cloud bands as on Jupiter or Saturn. Any features are subtle and hidden beneath a high layer of haze. The hue is calming, reminiscent of a robin's egg or a piece of sea glass held to the light. Encircling Uranus are narrow rings, much darker and thinner than Saturn's. They form delicate arcs around the planet, composed of dark rock and dust that reflect little sunlight. You see perhaps a half-dozen or more distinct rings, separated by gaps, encircling the planet's equator, which, due to Uranus's tilt, is almost perpendicular to the plane of its orbit. The rings are tilted at a steep angle in your view, emphasizing that Uranus is tipped over. Scattered among those rings are Uranus's moons. Most of the moons are small and hard to spot, but a few of the larger ones, Oberon, Titania, Miranda, Ariel, Umbriel, may be visible as tiny specks if you look closely. They orbit in the equatorial plane, so they too are tipped on their side along with Uranus, like a miniature solar system turned sideways. You float quietly past Uranus, finding beauty in its simplicity. There's a stillness to it, a pale cyan orb, unassuming and enigmatic. One could easily pass it by without fanfare, but you recall that even Uranus has its surprises. A complex interior, seasons that last decades, and moons with fascinating terrains. Miranda, for instance, with its wild cliffs and patchwork surface. For now, those secrets remain hidden beneath the placid exterior. You bid gentle farewell to this sideways planet and continue on. Finally, on the outer frontier of the planetary realm, you meet Neptune. Approaching Neptune feels like approaching a deep ocean in the sky. It's a rich azure blue, a more vivid hue than Uranus, with its own personality. As you get closer, Neptune's disk grows, and you can see hints of activity in its atmosphere. There are slender white cloud streaks stretched across the planet by swift winds, likely methane ice clouds, casting thin shadows on the layers below. These high-altitude clouds move rapidly. Neptune is known for the fastest winds in the solar system, oddly so for such a far, cold planet. You also notice, toward the mid-latitudes, an indistinct dark patch, perhaps one of Neptune's transient great dark spot storms, akin to Jupiter's red spot, but temporary, appearing and disappearing over the years. It's faint, but its presence suggests that Neptune too has a dynamic, living atmosphere under that calm blue facade. Neptune has a set of very faint rings as well, more like dusty arcs that encircle it in a few clumpy segments. They are challenging to see unless the lighting is just right. You glimpse them as subtle bands of darkness against the starry background when the sunlight hits at certain angles, evidence that they're there, albeit tenuous, probably made of dark, microscopic particles that don't reflect much light. Accompanying Neptune is its largest moon, Triton, and it soon enters your view. Triton is a world that immediately intrigues. It orbits Neptune in the opposite direction of the planet's rotation, suggesting it was likely captured long ago. You see Triton as a modest-sized, greyish sphere trailing Neptune. As you draw closer to Triton, some features become apparent on its surface. Parts of it look smooth and pinkish, possibly covered in nitrogen frost. Other regions have a rugged look, with strange pitted cantaloupe terrain unique to Triton. Triton is extremely cold, around 235 degrees Celsius, and yet it is not entirely static. You recall that Voyager 2 spotted geysers on Triton, dark plumes of dust and gas from beneath the surface, indicating there might be warmth and activity inside that icy shell. In the feeble sunlight out here, Triton is illuminated in a soft, twilight glow. It has a thin atmosphere, mostly nitrogen, which might at this very moment be condensing onto the surface as frost since Triton's winter night can last 100 years. You drift above Triton's alien landscape briefly, imagining the silent snow of nitrogen crystals falling in slow motion, settling on ancient ice fields. This moon, in its own distant way, might be one of the most peculiar and captivating places in the solar system. After quietly marveling at Triton's stark, frozen beauty, you turn your attention back to Neptune. Neptune, with its deep blue tranquility, and Triton, with its quiet mystery, together mark the end of the primary planets lineup. You take a moment to let it sink in. You've now seen, at least in passing, all 8 planets that orbit our Sun. From the sun-scorched Mercury to these remote ice giants, each world has been unique and wondrous. Neptune slowly recedes behind you now, a brilliant cobalt marble shrinking against the canvas of space, with Triton a pinprick of light nearby. You carry onward, venturing beyond Neptune's realm. With Neptune behind you, you approach the outermost reaches of the Sun's dominion. Here, the Sun's warmth is but a distant memory, and daylight as we know it has faded into an eternal cosmic night, punctuated only by a particularly bright star, our Sun, far, far behind. This region ushers you into the domain of the dwarf planets and the icy bodies of the Kuiper belt. You soon spot a tiny glimmer ahead that slowly resolves into Pluto. Once considered the 9th planet, Pluto now is recognized as one of the largest members of this outer belt of icy worlds. As you draw near, Pluto's appearance becomes clearer. It's a small globe, not perfectly round, but clearly spherical. The surface has a faint peach and grey tint. Most striking is a large, bright, heart-shaped region on Pluto's surface. This heart, informally called Tombor Regio, is an expanse of nitrogen ice that reflects sunlight brightly. It stands out against the darker, more reddish areas surrounding it. One lobe of the heart is a smooth plain, Sputnik Planitia, which is a sheet of nitrogen ice that may be slowly churning and renewing itself via Pluto's faint internal heat. The other areas of Pluto show contrasts. Some craters, indicating great age, and some smoother areas that hint at geologic changes. It's a world of surprising complexity for its size. You notice, along the terminator line where day meets night, the jagged outline of mountains. Some of those peaks are made of water ice, as hard as rock at Pluto's frigid temperatures, with bases lapped by frozen nitrogen plains. Above Pluto, a tenuous atmosphere of nitrogen extends, so thin you'd almost call it a vacuum, yet under the sun's distant rays, it forms hazy layers. Accompanying Pluto is its moon, Charon. Charon is big relative to Pluto, about half Pluto's diameter, making the two more of a double planet system than a planet and a moon. You see Charon off to the side of Pluto, a charcoal grey sphere, slightly rougher in appearance than Pluto. Charon has its own features, a large dark reddish cap at its north pole, perhaps a residue from gases escaping Pluto and coating Charon's pole, and a landscape marked with canyons and craters. Pluto and Charon are gravitationally locked to each other, always showing the same face to one another as they twirl around a common center of gravity in space. You sense this cosmic dance as you observe them. It's almost as if they're frozen in a gentle embrace, spinning together through darkness. You glide through the Pluto-Charon system quietly. Because you are so far from the sun now, everything has a twilight cast. The sunlight here is as dim as the light of the full moon back on Earth. Enough to see by, but shadowy and faint. Pluto's white heart shines softly. Charon's grey surface glows dully. It feels peaceful here, at the edge of the sun's light, as if you've stepped into a deep, wintry evening where the snow and sky blend into one. All around, you become aware that Pluto is not alone. This far-flung region is filled with other objects. The Kuiper Belt is a broad ring of icy bodies encircling the Sun beyond Neptune. While Pluto is one of the largest, there are others. Eris, which rivals Pluto in size and lies even further out. Makemake and Haumea, each with their own quirks, one egg-shaped and fast-spinning, the other with a thin atmosphere that freezes and thaws. And innumerable smaller ones, down to tiny comet nuclei that spend their eons out here in the cold. They are too distant and faint for your eyes to pick out individually now, but you know they are all around in this volume of space, like a diffuse halo of frozen relics. Occasionally, one of these distant objects might catch just the right angle of sunlight and glint for a moment, reminding you that it's there. Perhaps as you move beyond Pluto, you notice a tiny point of light blink against the darkness, then disappear. Maybe a reflection off an object's frozen surface. These are the leftovers of creation, preserved in the most distant freezer. Some of them, nudged by gravity or collisions, will one day fall sunward as comets, sprouting long tails as they briefly visit the inner solar system, only to retreat once more. But most will remain here, endlessly circling, quietly existing in the far suburbs of our solar family. As you travel farther out, it feels as though you're wandering through an ancient, silent museum of the solar system's past. The sun's glow has weakened to a pale glimmer far behind you, and the prevailing feeling is one of deep solitude and antiquity. You pass through plane after plane of orbiting debris. Though you seldom see any individual piece, you know statistically they surround you. Each of these ice rocks is a time capsule from the birth of the planets, 4.5 billion years ago. In their isolation, they have changed little, and they hold chemical secrets of that early era. Eventually, even Pluto and its distant companions fade into the background. You glance back one more time at the miniature solar system you've left behind. From here, the Sun is truly just another star, albeit a somewhat brighter one than the rest. Its light is about 1,000 times dimmer here than at Earth, but it still outshines the other stars in the sky, a testament to your proximity relative to the vast distances between stars. The planets you visited, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, are all now invisible, each too small and dark to stand out in the sun's distant halo. If someone didn't know they were there, nothing in the sky here would reveal their presence. It's a humbling and profound perspective. All of human history, every triumph and every sorrow, all took place on a speck of a world now lost in the brilliance of a single point of starlight behind you. In front of you lies the vast darkness of interstellar space, the space between the stars. It's an expanse so great it defies comprehension. The distances now are measured not in miles or kilometers, but in light years. The distance light travels in a year's time. The nearest star, beyond the Sun, is over 4 light years away, and most you see are far more distant. Yet here you are, at the threshold of that immense ocean, calm and ready to continue. You take a slow, deep breath. The star-filled void ahead doesn't feel empty or frightening. It feels like a quiet, open sea at night, stretching out infinitely, with the gentle lights of far-off shores, the stars, twinkling to guide you. Now, with the known planets behind you, you cross truly beyond the Kuiper Belt and leave the solar system's cradle. This is the region often called the solar shores, the outer boundary where the sun's influence wanes and the galaxy at large begins. Here, billions of miles from home, you drift into the threshold of interstellar space. The sun's light is weak, but it's still the sun. Its gravity still holds a loose grip on comets out here in a vast spherical shell called the Oort cloud, extending perhaps a quarter of the way to the next star. But you are even now moving beyond the main populated part of the solar system and into the fringe. As you gently press onward, you sense a subtle change in your surroundings. You are crossing the heliopause, the invisible frontier where the solar wind, a stream of charged particles emanating from the sun, finally slows to a stop, meeting the sparse gas that drifts between the stars. Within the heliopause, you are inside the sun's protective bubble, the heliosphere, where space is filled with particles and magnetic fields from our star. Now, beyond it, you are in the true interstellar medium. It's as if you've sailed past the calm bay and the breakwater out into the open ocean. The water is different here, a touch cooler, a bit more saline with stardust, metaphorically speaking. You pause in this moment, hovering right at the border of interstellar space, and allow yourself to absorb the significance. This boundary has been crossed only by a couple of human-made probes so far, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, and never by any human in person. But in your journey of the mind, you have arrived. A gentle pride and exhilaration swell within you. You have left the sun's neighborhood. It is a milestone in this voyage. You are now truly a voyager among the stars. Indeed, as you reflect, you remember those pioneers of humanity, the Voyager spacecraft. Tiny, intrepid messengers launched in the late 1970s, they carried with them golden records of Earth sounds and music, a hopeful greeting to the cosmos. They sailed beyond the planets, and decades later, one by one, slipped into interstellar space. You imagine one of them, perhaps Voyager 1, the farthest, not too far off in the cosmic scale, a silent metal emissary coasting through the dark. It's far ahead of you in distance, but you feel a kinship with it now. Both you and that little craft are crossing the same threshold. In your mind, you give a nod of acknowledgement to Voyager. We made it. And in that acknowledgement, you feel the collective spirit of human curiosity and courage accompanying you. It's as if all those who dreamed of touching the stars are right here with you in this moment. Turning your attention forward again, you find the view ahead breathtaking. Out here, free from even the thin traces of the inner solar system's dust and glare, the Milky Way reveals itself in magnificent detail. The band of light that was once a faint milky arch in your night sky now spans your entire field of vision as a glowing river of stars. It wraps around you, above, below, to every side. You are in the plane of the galaxy, and the combined light of its billions of stars forms a grand tapestry. You see structure in it now, great swirls and clumps, light and dark. There are vast dark rifts where interstellar dust clouds block the starry light, particularly noticeable toward the galactic center, where they form complex patterns like cosmic storm clouds. And there are brighter patches, where star clusters or less obscured regions shine more intensely. The central bulge of the Milky Way, that crowded hub of stars in the galaxy's core, glows ahead of you with a warm, golden-white radiance. It's far away, about 26,000 light-years distant, but its collective brilliance makes it a prominent feature. This bulge is like a lantern shining from the galaxy's heart, providing a gentle beacon for your journey. You know that at the very center of that glow lies the galactic core itself, with its greatest secret, a supermassive black hole named Sagittarius A, a dark anchor around which the entire Milky Way rotates. That black hole is invisible, hidden by dust and distance, but it's there, quietly pulling stars in dizzying orbits around it. The light you see from the bulge is not from the black hole, which emits no light we can see, but from the densely packed stars, and perhaps the frenetic activity of matter circling near that void. To your eyes, it is simply a soft, mysterious glow, beckoning you inward. Between your current position and that glowing core, the Milky Way's spiral arms coil gracefully. These spiral arms are regions rich with stars and nebulae, winding out from the center like giant, curving star clouds. As you contemplate continuing your journey, you imagine what lies within those arms that you will pass by. There will be stellar nurseries, immense clouds of gas and dust where new stars are being born. They might appear as luminous nebulae, like the Orion Nebula did from Earth, only now you could potentially drift right into one, seeing the new stars cradled in their gaseous cocoons. There will be open clusters of young stars, hot and blue, lighting up their surroundings with a sapphire hue. You might pass supernova remnants, the gorgeous, expanding shells of gas left behind by massive stars that exploded long ago, now glowing in pinks and greens as they expand into space. Perhaps you'll see a globular cluster hanging outside the galaxy's plane, a dense ball of ancient stars, like a beehive of suns, each cluster orbiting the Milky Way's center in a halo. The thought of these wonders fills you with a gentle excitement. There are so many sights ahead that could take your breath away anew. Yet, you also feel a steady calm. You know you will encounter them in time, one by one. There is no rush. The galaxy's treasures have waited millions of years and will be there for you as you come upon them. For now, you simply allow yourself to be awed by the panoramic view of the Milky Way and the knowledge that you are now a part of this larger ocean of stars, no longer just a shoreline observer. Floating just beyond the solar shores, you take in the profound quiet and depth of space around you. The silence here is like nothing else. It's not just the absence of sound, but the presence of a deep, cosmic stillness. It's the kind of silence in which you can almost hear your own thoughts echo. In this silence, you feel your own heartbeat, slow and steady, and your breathing, calm and rhythmic. It's as if the universe is so quiet now that you become exquisitely aware of the life within you. You realize that you too are made of the same stuff as these stars. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you breathe, all forged in stellar furnaces and spread through space by ancient supernovae. In a way, the universe is experiencing itself through your eyes right now. That realization brings a serene smile to your face. As you float, you also feel the presence of home still lingering with you, gently woven into your being. You carry the warmth of the sun in the memory of light on your skin. You carry the pull of Earth's gravity in the spring of your muscles, even in weightlessness. You carry the sounds of laughter, the whisper of wind in trees, the crash of ocean waves, all the sensory pieces of Earth in your mind. These memories and experiences are like a comforting cloak that keeps you warm here in the vast chill of space. You are not lonely. You have the essence of home within you. And at the same time, you feel an incredible freedom. Unshackled from the ground, unconfined by the atmosphere, you can move in any direction, go anywhere. It's a balance. Part of you is forever rooted on Earth, and part of you is now an explorer of the infinite. Stars twinkle around you, like friendly faces in a dark crowd. Ahead, one star shines a bit brighter than the rest. You recall that in the sky, from Earth's perspective, the nearest star system to our own is Alpha Centauri, which is actually made of 3 stars, Alpha Centauri, A, B, and Proxima. Perhaps that is the star you see now. It's in roughly the right direction toward the galactic center from where Earth is. In reality, you won't reach it in this journey. It's over 4 light years away, which is enormous. But seeing a bright star ahead gives you a sense of direction. You feel a kinship with that distant sun. Around it may circle planets. In fact, you know Proxima Centauri, the faint red dwarf companion, has at least 1 planet in the habitable zone. For a moment, you close your eyes and send a gentle thought in that direction. A greeting, a wish that whoever, or whatever, might live under that star, if anything does, could feel the same peace and wonder that you do now. It's a fanciful notion, yet under this dome of stars, it feels appropriate. The universe suddenly seems not huge and uncaring, but intimate and connected. You and that potential other observer around some distant sun are both children of the same galaxy, both looking up or out with curiosity. It's incredible to think how far you've come on this voyage. In reality, traveling physically to where you are now would take a craft many, many years. But in this journey of the mind and spirit, distance and time have flowed differently, kindly. You reflect on the vast trek from that quiet hilltop where you began, gazing at the night sky, to here, beyond the edge of the solar system. You have gently ascended through Earth's atmosphere, bid farewell to your planet and moon, visited each planet in turn, and finally stepped beyond all that was familiar. The scale of it is staggering. The numbers alone, billions of miles, almost lose meaning. But what means more are the experiences, the sights of swirling Jupiter, the tranquility of Saturn's rings, the poignant loneliness of Pluto. Taken all at once, the journey could be overwhelming. But you realize it hasn't felt that way, because you've taken it gradually, moment by moment. There's a truth in that, perhaps. Even the largest journey is just a series of small steps, one after another. And so it has been. With a calm sense of accomplishment, you allow yourself a little pride. Not pride in conquering or subduing, but pride in having opened yourself to this experience, in having allowed your curiosity to lead you so far. You also feel gratitude, profound and encompassing. Gently, you close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath. Here, adrift between stars, you let a wave of gratitude wash through you. You are thankful for the wonders you've been able to witness, things that, for most of human history, were mere points of light in the sky or entirely unknown. You're grateful to have seen the graceful dance of planets, the glimmer of distant moons, the quiet of the cosmic night. You also feel grateful for yourself, for having the courage to embark on this mental odyssey, for having the openness to absorb the beauty and maintain calm in the face of immensity. In this moment, you even feel gratitude for the challenges left behind on Earth, for without them, you might not appreciate the serenity of this voyage as deeply. Everything is connected. When you open your eyes again, they meet the soft, radiant expanse of the Milky Way's stars. The journey is far from over. Truly, it may be that it has only just begun. as the galaxy's core still lies a long way ahead. But you feel no anxiety about distance or time. Instead, a gentle resolve forms in you. With the sun's warm haven behind you and the galactic core's mysteries ahead, you are about to begin a new chapter of exploration. There is a sense of continuity. Everything that has come before has prepared you for what comes next. The calm, slightly mystical tone of the voyage will carry on, keeping you company as you go deeper. There is no rush at all. The stars will wait for you, and you for them, as needed. The pull you felt from the galactic center back on Earth is still there, perhaps a bit stronger now, but it's a patient pull, like a friend extending a hand and smiling, ready whenever you are. You acknowledge it and feel a quiet excitement building within your calm. Slowly, peacefully, you begin to drift further into the interstellar night. Each subtle motion takes you a little farther away from the sun's familiar sphere and a little closer to the unknown wonders ahead. You leave the solar shores behind for good now, slipping fully into the great cosmic ocean. Yet you do so in the most gentle way. There's no splash, no abrupt change, just a smooth sailing into the next realm of your journey. A lightness fills you, both literally, with no gravity to weigh you down, and emotionally. You carry curiosity like a cherished lantern, and it glows with a steady light inside you, guiding you forward. There's also a quiet excitement coursing through your being. You're on the cusp of the vast unknown, and rather than fear, you feel a sense of welcome and readiness. The stars ahead are not strangers, they're destinations, and perhaps friends you simply haven't met yet. One last glance back finds the sun, now just a diminutive spark among countless others. If you didn't know exactly which one it was, you might not pick it out from the starry multitude. It twinkles gently, a tiny point of warmth and light far behind. You know that back there, around that little star, is a tiny blue planet where dawn is probably breaking for someone, where waves are lapping ashore, where life goes on. It brings a comforting thought. No matter how far you go, that place exists, and it's home. The sun and earth will be there, steady in the sky, when and if you ever return. They anchor one end of your journey. With that reassurance, you turn your gaze forward once more, toward the vast darkness peppered with promise. All around you, the Milky Way extends in an endless, glittering panorama. The dark spaces between the stars no longer feel empty. They feel like corridors, waiting to lead you to new marvels. You sense that the galactic core, the destination that first called you, lies within that concentrated glow ahead. It's not a single point, but an entire region bustling with stars upon stars. Within that distant radiance are secrets and spectacles beyond imagining. Dense clusters where stars are shoulder to shoulder, maybe exotic objects like magnetars or the swirling maelstrom near the central black hole. The secrets of the Milky Way, the hidden truths of our galaxy, are perhaps tucked away there at the end of this long road of starlight. Between here and there, you know thousands of light years of space await you, filled with those spiral arm wonders and perhaps things you haven't even conjectured. Yet this doesn't daunt you. The journey will continue as it has, step by step, star by star. and you have faith that you will witness amazing things along the way. After all, look at what you've seen already. Each stage of the voyage had its own magic. You feel a calm determination and an openness in your heart. Whatever the galaxy wishes to show you, you are ready to see, with wonder, with respect, and with gratitude. You are not an intruder here. You're a welcome guest, a child of the universe returning to explore its vast halls. And so you continue, onward and inward. In the perfect silence, you glide through the starlight, letting the gentle current of the Milky Way carry you toward the core. Behind you, the sun's faint glow merges with the tapestry of stars. Ahead of you, the path is lit by the collective glow of billions of suns. There is no up or down here, only the everywhere of space enveloping you in its soft darkness and faint, eternal light. Each gentle push forward carries you a little farther from home and a little closer to the heart of the galaxy. Time remains a companion rather than a master. You drift at your own pace, sometimes pausing to simply be among the stars, other times gracefully accelerating toward a new point of interest. You remain wrapped in tranquility throughout, as constant as your steady breathing. The calm and slightly mystical tone that began on that hillside under the stars continues to soothe and guide you, like a favorite melody that one can't help but hum softly. You are a voyager among the infinite now, a tiny, bright spark of consciousness moving through an endless night. Around you, the universe stretches out in all directions, teeming with possibilities. Within you, a universe of thoughts and feelings mirrors the outer cosmos, full of its own mysteries and wonders. In this moment, and in every moment to come on this journey, you are at one with the cosmos, drifting ever deeper into the Milky Way, drawn by the gentle pull of its shining core. You remain peacefully curious and curiously peaceful. The stars watch over you like old friends, and the road ahead, a road of light and wonder, beckons you ever forward, one calm, enchanted step at a time, closer and closer to the radiant heart of the Milky Way. We have left behind the light of our sun and the familiar planets, gliding into the darkness of interstellar space. The planets shrink to tiny specks. The sun becomes just another star behind us. The constellations of the night sky slowly fade, and before us, the full Milky Way unfolds in all its grandeur. Around us stretches a broad swath of the galaxy, the Orion Arm, the spiral wing of the Milky Way that cradles our sun. This is our galactic neighborhood, a realm of gentle beauty and deep mystery. Now we travel on, our vessel following this spiral arm like a boat on still waters. The Orion Arm, sometimes called the Orion Spur, stretches like a quiet current through the stars. Countless suns drift silently around us, their light glimmering through the inky void. Among them are many we recognize by name: Orion's Belt, Betelgeuse, Rigel, and other familiar jewels, anchors to our memory even as we journey deeper into the galaxy. The silence around us is profound. There is no wind or sound here, only the gentle rhythm of our exploration. Time itself has slowed. Each day out here lasts longer, measured by the slow drift between star clusters rather than by sunrises and sunsets. Our sun is here too, quietly orbiting the galaxy's center at about 26,000 light-years out. We find ourselves roughly halfway along this arm's span, in a small cavity called the local bubble. In this region, gas and dust are sparse, carved out long ago by ancient stellar explosions. We feel this gentle solitude around us. Our neighbours' stars shine with a slightly brighter clarity, and fewer clouds obscure our view. Even here, far from home, the Milky Way cradles us in its glow. In fact, this arm is enriched by the ashes of ancient stars. Its gas contains slightly more carbon, oxygen, and iron than average, because past supernovae have seeded it. We drift through a cosmic garden patch enriched by the galaxy's long history of creation and destruction. Around us, stars of all ages circle the galactic center on their own orbits. Some are newborns, only a few million years old, glowing with fresh light. Others are old and wise, hundreds of millions or even billions of years into their lives, their glow steady and mature. All are distant suns. A few will live for tens of billions of years, while others will burn out sooner. In this grand cosmic dance, our own sun is but one partner among many, each star tracing its own silent path. For perspective, those hot blue giants here will live only a few million years, destined to end long before any human era has passed. In contrast, the smallest red dwarfs could quietly burn on for trillions of years. Each star's life is vastly different from the others, yet here they all share the same gentle journey. Nearby, a handful of stars keep us company. The bright pair, Alpha Centauri, A and B, with the dim Proxima, drift together only about 4.3 light-years away. Proxima hosts an Earth-size world, though from here we cannot see it. Sirius, the brightest star in our night sky, lies just beyond at 8.6 light-years. Even fainter Barnard's star, only 6 light-years out, sails slowly across our view. These are just our closest neighbours. Beyond them, the Orion Arm contains billions of other stars stretching into the distance, an ocean of suns too numerous to count. Even from here we recognise our old celestial landmarks. The Pleiades, or Seven Sisters, is a tight cluster of hot young stars, only about 400 light-years away, still drifting together in this arm. Nearby, the Hyades form a dispersed V-shape around the star Aldebaran in Taurus, another sibling cluster born long ago. These open clusters are like families of stars sharing our neighbourhood, still moving together through the galaxy. They too journey along the Orion Arm with us, shining like distant companions in our cosmic sea. Though we speak of arms as if they were roads, the Orion Arm is really part of the galaxy's flat disk. We glide almost on the mid-plane of this spiral galaxy, mere hundreds of light-years above its midline. Nearby lies the Sagittarius Arm, curving inward toward the center, and beyond that, the Perseus Arm, curving outward. Off to one side stretches the Sagittarius Arm, heavy with star-forming clouds we have yet to visit. Beyond that lies the Perseus Arm, in an even broader loop. But here in the Orion Arm, we ride a gentle swell of stars and gas. It is not a solid wall, but a broad wave of higher density, like a slight rise on the cosmic ocean, carrying us along in its silent motion. As we continue, the Orion Arm begins to thicken with dark, cool clouds of gas and dust, the nurseries of new stars. We drift toward these dense regions where the cycle of stellar birth continues unceasingly. Within the hushed clouds, Gravity silently gathers matter into new beginnings. Through our ship's viewport, darkness is pierced by faint glows. Nebulae, where starry infants lie hidden. One such glow appears ahead, like dawn breaking on a long, dark horizon. Within these clouds, colossal molecular nebulae gather. One such region is the Orion Nebula, a glowing cradle of creation about 1,300 light-years away. Billows of gas and dust swirl around countless newborn stars. We glide near its heart. 4 brilliant stars, known as the trapezium, cast intense ultraviolet light, carving out vast cavities in the surrounding fog. These powerful young suns have hollowed out a corridor through the cloud, and through it we can see deep into the nursery. Over 3,000 young stars shine within, each a new sun beginning its long life. It is as if the galaxy itself breathes. A star that lived a long time and exploded in a brilliant death sends shockwaves rippling through these clouds. These gentle echoes compress pockets of gas, coaxing them into collapse, and from such cosmic tremors, new stars emerge. We sense this cycle around us, the birth of shining suns from ancient stardust. The Orion Arm is alive with creation, each new star destined to begin its own long journey. Elsewhere in the darkness we see great silhouettes carved against the starry glow. The Horsehead Nebula and other dark pillars, towering clouds so dense they block the light. These are the densest parts of the nurseries, where dust is thickest, hiding the secrets within. Yet even here stars may be forming unseen. Within each dark pillar, hidden newborn stars may already be stirring, their first light trapped until it finally escapes. Even in this deepest night, the promise of creation remains. Not far along the Orion Arm is another famous nursery, the Eagle Nebula, about 6,000 light-years away in the constellation Serpens. Within it are the iconic pillars of creation, towering columns of gas illuminated by bright newborn stars. Each pillar is hundreds of times larger than our solar system, shaped by intense radiation and winds from nearby stars. In their shadows, new stars are quietly taking shape from the dense gas. The scene is majestic, like the fingers of a cosmic giant reaching up from the darkness. It is a place of silent wonder, where stars are born behind veils of dust. In some corners of these nebulae, newborn stars wear dusty disks around them, the beginnings of future planets. Though invisible from our vantage point, we know these disks exist. Each is a swirling ring of material, the blueprint of new solar systems taking shape in the darkness. Some of these young stars also shoot out narrow jets of gas, like cosmic searchlights carving through the mist, though from here we only glimpse their wake. Everywhere we look, the scene is one of hope, a cosmic garden where entire planetary families may one day sprout from the stardust. Farther along in the Orion Arm lies the Rosette Nebula, a vast ring of glowing gas sculpted by the stars forming within it. This giant cosmic rose, about 1,300 light-years away, encloses a cluster of newborn stars at its center. Its swirling orange-red glow is powered by their ultraviolet light, blazing outward into the darkness. There is a peaceful symmetry to the rosette. Petal-shaped lanes of dust outline the ring, while inside, dozens of young stars call this nebula home. Even smaller than the great pillars and nebulae are countless Bok globules, tiny, dark pockets just a few light-years across. These are so thick with cold gas and dust that they look like holes in the sky. Each one could be hiding a baby star, shrouded in darkness. From a distance they appear as inky silhouettes. Only the most sensitive telescopes on Earth can peek inside. Here in the Orion Arm, we pass thousands of these globules, each quietly incubating a star from the cosmic gas around it. As we leave the nurseries behind, a vast sea of stars stretches out in all directions. The Orion Arm around us is like a calm ocean dotted with islands of light. We sail smoothly between these star islands, feeling the gentle currents of the galaxy all around. We move with the Milky Way's rotation, even as distant suns drift quietly by. In this serene cosmic ocean, our voyage continues, guided by the ancient light of the stars themselves. Though it feels peaceful, the Milky Way carries us swiftly along. Our star system races forward at hundreds of thousands of miles per hour, circling the galaxy's center once every few 100 million years. Yet because the galaxy is so vast and our journey so gentle, we hardly notice the speed. The stars around us seem to drift in place like distant buoys guiding our course. In this moment, we sail through space as if standing still, carried by the grand gravitational current of our galaxy. All around us, the stars form a diffuse band of light stretching through the sky. This is the glow of the Milky Way's plane, made by billions of faint suns blending together. Floating within it, our ship feels like a leaf carried on a river of starlight. The glowing band above marks the plane of our galaxy, the quiet stage on which our journey unfolds. In this gentle current of stars, we realize we are not alone, but part of a grand cosmic design. The art of navigation by stars has become literal for us. Astronomers and explorers now use familiar constellations as guideposts, just as sailors on Earth once used Orion's belt to find their way across the ocean. Drifting here among these patterns, each star is both our destination and our beacon. We sail in silence through the galaxy's grand design, oriented by the ancient light that has crossed the void for centuries. As we continue our journey, we also witness the relics of stars that have ended their lives. Beyond the nurseries, quiet markers of stellar death appear across the Orion Arm. Each remnant tells a story. Some are beautiful and haunting, shaped by their star's final breath. Now we sail into their territory, where light comes not from birth, but from the gentle echo of things ended. Some stars end their lives more quietly. A star much like our own will swell into a red giant, and then gently shed its outer layers into space, leaving behind a glowing shell of gas. These planetary nebulae drift outward, illuminated by the remnant core. One famous example is the Helix Nebula, often called the Eye of God. Just 600 light-years away, it appears as a great cosmic eye, a ring of soft glowing gas cast against the darkness. At its center lies a compact white dwarf, a cinder of the star still shining with its leftover heat. This hush and beauty are a peaceful farewell, a final gift of light to the galaxy. Someday, our sun's end will create a similar ring, a quiet reminder of this cycle. Others end in cosmic fireworks. When a very massive star exhausts its fuel, its core collapses, and its outer layers explode into space as a supernova. The result is a brilliant, expanding nebula glowing with the heat and light of elements forged in the blast. One famous example is the Crab Nebula in Taurus. Nearly 1,000 years ago, it flared in Earth's sky like a new star. Today, we see it as a delicate cloud of filaments and gas, still expanding outward. At its heart lies a tiny neutron star, spinning dozens of times each second, a cosmic lighthouse beaming out pulses of energy. In the most extreme cases, a star's death leaves behind a black hole. This is an object so dense that not even light can escape it, and its presence is felt only by the way it pulls on nearby stars and gas. Though invisible to our eyes, these dark remnants may lurk in the shadows of the Orion Arm. Even now, our galaxy likely hosts countless such silent giants. Some stars may collapse directly into these darknesses, invisible, yet shaping the motions of those around them. Even the most peaceful star leftovers drift across the galaxy. White dwarfs. These are the cooled embers of once sun-like stars, tiny cinders still glowing after eons. For every brilliant planetary nebula we see, there is a white dwarf wandering quietly in the darkness. Sirius B, the dim companion to Sirius, is one such star, a white dwarf shining with its leftover heat. All around the Milky Way, these silent stellar ghosts traverse the disk, reminders that even fading stars continue their journey. In fact, our galaxy likely contains hundreds of millions of these white dwarfs, an invisible sea of embers filling the space between the stars. Now, as we leave these silent monuments behind, our eyes are drawn inward. A faint golden glow shimmers on the far horizon, the combined light of billions of stars at the center of our galaxy. It is the distant ember of the Milky Way's heart, quietly radiating from across the darkness. Though it remains unreachable for now, it beckons us onward, whispering that more wonders lie ahead in the galaxy's depths. Above us, the Milky Way's bright band thickens. We are heading towards Sagittarius, where the galactic center is hidden behind thick clouds of dust. We cannot see the central black hole directly, but we can feel its massive presence. The glow ahead is like a distant city seen through a dusty veil, warm and inviting. It is a beacon calling us to continue our voyage deeper into the heart of the galaxy, towards secrets yet to be revealed. The distant glow grows stronger as we approach, urging us onward like a gentle beacon in the night. Soon we will enter a new realm of the galaxy, where ancient stars crowd together and gravity grows intense. That remains beyond our reach for now. We simply sail onward, carried by the light of this distant glow, which continues to beckon us deeper into the Milky Way's ancient heart. We continue our voyage deeper into the spiral arms of the Milky Way, where the stars begin to cluster and glow with quiet luminescence. Behind us, the familiar constellations of our home grow distant, and before us, the galaxy opens in its full majesty. Each star is a distant sun, a gentle beacon in the vast darkness, and together they form soft, swirling patterns that trace the structure of our galaxy. Drifting through these stellar currents feels like sailing a calm ocean of light, each current carrying us gracefully along the spiral's curve. As we sail onward, we traverse incredible distances in silence. Each point of starlight we see is an echo from centuries past, a whisper of the cosmos carried across the void to our eyes. The Milky Way is a magnificent, barred spiral galaxy, and from our vantage within its disk, we can sense the grand design of its arms and central bar. Though we cannot see it all at once, the galaxy's spiral structure guides us onward, deeper into its embrace. Stars are not scattered randomly across this plane of the galaxy, but gathered along graceful ribbons of light and shadow. Our own sun resides in a modest spur of one of these arms, a place known as the Orion Arm, wedged between grander neighbouring arms. Toward the galactic centre lies the Carina Sagittarius Arm, a densely populated stellar highway, and on the other side stretches the distant Perseus Arm. Each of these spiral arms spans thousands of light years in width and stretches across the galaxy, curving gracefully around the centre. Though our solar system is embedded in one of these arms, it has taken centuries of careful observation to unveil the Milky Way's true form from within. Today, modern telescopes allow us to piece together this luminous map from our vantage in space, confirming that our sun indeed rides along one of the galaxy's gentle currents. Every star in these arms, including our own sun, circles the galactic centre at tremendous speed. Our sun takes about 200 million years to complete a single orbit around the Milky Way. But even at such speeds, the galaxy is so vast that the stars hardly seem to move in our immediate view. For now, we move much slower. From our vantage, this part of the galaxy feels serene and unhurried. In recent decades, observations have redefined our understanding of this structure. It appears that only two major spiral arms, the Scutum Centaurus and Perseus arms, dominate the Milky Way's shape, winding away from the ends of a broad central bar. Smaller spurs and arms, including our Orion spur and the Sagittarius Carina segment, host many stars, but are less grand in scale. The entire galaxy emerges as a spiral pinwheel of gas and stars, arms of light and darkness woven together by gravity. For centuries, we peered through our telescopes into the night sky, unable to discern the Milky Way's true shape from within. Only with modern technology, spanning radio to infrared, have we been able to peer through the veil of dust and piece together the silhouette of our galaxy. It is as if we live in a dense forest and finally have taken to the air above it to see all its intricate patterns. The spiral arms themselves are brilliant highways of stars, gas, and dust, arcing across the sky like celestial rivers. They are luminous, with the collective glow of untold multitudes of stars, and shaded by sweeping lanes of interstellar dust. Each arm is like a bright current of light. Dense regions sparkle with countless stars, while long shadows of dust weave between them. Grains of carbon and silicates drift through these lanes, often concealing the stars behind them, their darkness carved from the very substance that will one day give birth to new suns. Seen from far above, each arm forms a graceful spiral, but from our inside view, they appear as gentle curves rising across the galactic horizon. Within these arms, stars of many types coexist. Brilliant young blue stars ignite in dense clusters, lighting up the spiral lanes, while countless older, dimmer red stars drift unassumingly in the background. Giant stars, swollen and luminous, punctuate the scene here and there, casting warm light into their neighbourhoods. In each arm, there is a tapestry of stellar life at all stages, weaving a rich and varied galactic tapestry. We float past nebulae, vast glowing clouds where young stars awaken. Some nebulae are bright and rich with colour, like cosmic fireworks of pink and emerald gas. Others are diffuse and barely visible to the eye, delicate wisps of cosmic fog suspended in the void. Between these stellar nurseries, darker clouds linger, cold patches of dust where future stars have yet to ignite. All of these stellar nurseries are the cradle of new stars. One of the most famous of these nurseries lies in the heart of the Orion constellation. The Orion Nebula glows softly with a rosy hue, bathed in the gentle light of newly ignited stars within. It forms the brightest part of Orion's sword in our sky, visible to the naked eye as a misty patch. Imagine drifting among its clouds of gas and dust, witnessing the dawn of nascent suns as they kindle from their stellar cradle. Not far beyond, in the southern skies, the Carina Nebula explodes in a riot of turquoise and crimson, a colossal expanse where many massive young stars heat the surrounding hydrogen to incandescent brilliance. It is a turbulent realm of starbirth and stellar winds. In the northern sky, the Eagle Nebula's pillars of creation rise like ghostly monoliths, sculpted by powerful radiation from nearby stars. These icy towers are silent and majestic, as ancient as they are vast, each one a stellar nursery reaching light years into space. Beyond Orion, other nebulae dot our path. The Trifid Nebula fans, red and blue hues in Sagittarius. The Rosette Nebula blooms in Monoceros. Each has its own tapestry of glowing gas and young stars. Altogether, these clouds form a web of creation. Even though we are silent observers, the light tells stories of turmoil and birth within. Amid these nebulae, clusters of stars emerge, kindred groups born from the same cloud, journeying together through space. The Pleiades cluster in Taurus glitters like a handful of blue diamonds against the night. True sisters still bound by their shared origin. Legends of 7 sisters have danced in our mythology for ages, and here among the stars we see their shimmering kin. Nearby, the Hyades form a gentle V-shaped embrace, their salmon and white stars spreading out, older and more relaxed in their appearance. In this arm of the galaxy, we pass by many such open clusters, each a small city of stars. These stellar cradles might contain just a few dozen or a few thousand stars, far looser than their ancient globular cousins, yet they shine brightly in our view. The beehive in Cancer glows softly as a hazy orb of faint stars, and the wild duck cluster in Sagittarius scatters like falling embers. As we drift onward, these youthful star cities remain as glowing memories in our wake. Open clusters are fragile. Over many millions of years, they dissolve, their stars slowly drifting away along the arm. What we see as a tight group now will, in the distant future, become just a scattered family. In this way, the spiral arms are constantly reshaped, with new clusters slowly blending into the starry stream. Between the shining bands of the arms, vast shadows drift by. Even in the radiant heart of the Milky Way, darkness has its place. Thick bands of interstellar dust carve through the starlight, forming dark rifts where background stars fade into invisibility. These dust lanes are like rivers of black ink, silhouettes against the luminous disk. You might think the darkness empty, but it is filled with potential. Cold clouds of raw material for future stars and planets. They move slowly along with the galaxy, and from here their silence is complete. Yet they blot out millions of suns, hiding them behind an opaque veil that absorbs even visible light. As we pass near, we sense their deep stillness, knowing that new beginnings may lie hidden within them. One of the most prominent of these dark features is called the Great Rift by stargazers on Earth. Seen from the night sky, it looks like a deep canyon of stars torn across the Milky Way. In reality, it is a massive dust lane extending for thousands of light years, blocking the heart of the galaxy from view. Up close, we can see how complex and filamentary its structure is, far more intricate than the single dark swath we see from the ground. Above and below the glittering plane of the galaxy extends a halo, a tenuous envelope of ancient stars and globular clusters. In this dim realm, time feels stretched, and the ages stretch on. We catch distant glimpses of clusters like Omega Centauri or Messier 13, each containing hundreds of thousands of stars packed into a nearly perfect sphere. These clusters are the elders of the galaxy, compact, spherical, and filled with stars that formed long ago at the dawn of the Milky Way. They move in silent orbits around the galactic center, witnessing eons of cosmic history unfold. Between these clusters float faint smudges of ancient supernova remnants, and the lonely remnants of stars long since burned out. As a whole, the halo stretches vast and thin around the galaxy, a ghostly cocoon cradling the Milky Way from above and below. Even further out from these clusters lies a swarm of solitary, ancient stars, born in the galaxy's early days. Some scientists believe many of these came from dwarf galaxies, long since absorbed into the Milky Way, their stars strewn through the halo as quiet ghosts. Surrounding all of this is the mysterious dark matter halo, an invisible cloak that makes up most of the galaxy's mass and holds it together. Our journey carries us ever farther inward, the spiral arms curving around the central bulge of the galaxy. The density of stars thickens, and the glow of the galaxy's disk grows more intense as we draw closer. We now look upon the Milky Way's grand bar, a broad bridge of stars spanning the core, although from this distance, its heart is still veiled by distance and dust. As we move inward, the pull of gravity from the central mass grows stronger, though it is still far ahead of us. The orbits of stars around the bar region become elongated and complex. Yet to our drifting perspective, it feels like a smooth, almost melodic rotation rather than a tumultuous chaos. The night sky here would be exceptionally bright if we could see the millions of stars that crowd the disk ahead of us. Slowly, we approach the realm where the inner galaxy opens before us. A vast expanse lies between the crowded spiral arms and the glowing central bulge, a quieter space with few stars to keep us company. Here the stellar birth rate is low, and darkness becomes our quiet companion. In this zone, every star seems even more precious, the empty stretches between them vast and silent. Before us stretches a great expanse of emptiness, the threshold to deeper mysteries. As the dense lanes of stars fall behind, the Milky Way's light dims around us, preparing the stage for the secrets that lie in its hidden core. For now, the journey is the story, and every moment in these quiet depths writes another line in it. The more we gaze outward, the more we witness the past. Every ray of starlight is a message from long ago, reminding us that we are time travelers aboard this silent ship. The stars we see shining are not here and now. They lit up years ago, and their light is only now reaching our eyes. In this way, our journey is also a journey through time. As we move, we peel back layers of history, seeing the galaxy in stages of its own life. Even what seems to be empty space is alive with energy. Interstellar space is not a complete void, but a seething substrate of charged particles, faint magnetic fields, and the glow of distant gas. Aboard our vessel, we feel the faint hum of cosmic radiation, an echo of the high-energy processes that constantly stir the galaxy. In this silent ocean, even emptiness itself resonates with the history of stars that have lived and died. Silence prevails in this journey, but it is the silence of anticipation and awe, not emptiness. A gentle hum underlies everything, the steady glow of distant suns, the faint stirrings of atoms in the cold dark. We listen with our eyes as the galaxy speaks in light and shadow, revealing its secrets in a wordless, cosmic vocabulary. We are voyagers in a grand cosmic ocean, drifting between islands of light. Each star we pass is an island, home to untold possibilities. Each nebula, a cloud bank of creation. As we sail these galactic seas, the immensity of space unfolds endlessly around us, and the galaxy's spiral arms wind gently like great currents underfoot. Look at the stars we pass. Some burn white and blue, others glow a soft red or amber. Together, they paint a celestial mosaic against the blackness. This medley of light enwraps us in a comforting blanket. Every point of colour is a star, each with its own story. In this serene voyage, the colours of the Milky Way become our companions. Invisible rays of high-energy particles, cosmic rays, pass through our ship continuously. They come from supernova remnants and distant galaxies, but here they pass by almost unnoticed, like gentle raindrops on the deck of a silent ship. Likewise, neutrinos stream in an unceasing hail from every direction, ghosts of nuclear reactions. Their presence is subtle, yet they remind us that even the void is full of motion and energy on scales beyond our senses. Though we move fast in galactic terms, time for us flows evenly. Time dilation effects from relativity are negligible at the speeds we travel, so our experience is one of normal, steady time. Our watches tick by, and in those intervals, the cosmos continues its gentle dance. It is as though we are nestled in a calm harbour while the galaxy swirls around us. Imagine gazing out at the stars from your window in this quiet ship. To the eye, the universe outside is still and grand. There are no battles or storms here, only patterns and passages of light. Every constellation and bright star invites contemplation rather than drama, and our minds can roam freely with wonder. Even as we glide, enormous scales loom above us. The arms of the galaxy arch over thousands of light years, dwarfing the distance we move in a single moment. Yet this hugeness only deepens our calm. It means every detail here is steeped in eons and distances, so small movements do not break the silence of the void. No noise reaches us in this journey, just the faint echo of instrumentation and our own thoughts. Even at night on Earth, the Milky Way might appear to sparkle and hum to an observer. Here, though, the stars whisper in silence, as if the universe itself is holding its breath. In this hush, the secrets of the cosmos seem within reach. If one could place a hand on the hull of our ship, they would feel nothing. The vacuum of space carries no vibration, but in our hearts and minds, we can feel the weight of what we explore, the collective history of countless stars. Even in stillness, this journey resonates through us. Navigating the galaxy requires only careful observation. We do not rely on wind or tide as sailors once did. Instead, we steer by the patterns of stars themselves, by the gentle currents of gravity, and by the quiet beacons of pulsars acting as cosmic lighthouses. It is a journey without haste, guided by the ancient map in the night sky. We have now reached the crowded heart of the galaxy. Around us, glimmers a vast sea of stars, more than we have ever imagined. We drift among them silently, carried by the ship's gentle motion. Each star here is a distant sun, shining softly against the dark backdrop of the bulge. Their lights paint the surroundings in warm gold and amber. From our vantage point, it seems as if the center of the Milky Way is a jewel box, each point of light a tiny gem set in velvet night. All directions are filled with stars. As we glide through this stellar ocean, the sky above is everywhere bright and full, yet never dazzling. The glow feels comforting and almost familiar. We notice that the stars here are older and more mellow than the bright blue youngsters of the spiral arms. Most of these are yellow giants and reddish suns nearing middle age. Their light is steady, like lanterns glowing through the twilight. If we had seen this same region of the galaxy from afar, it might have appeared faint. But here up close, we realize there are billions of these suns. At any moment we look in any direction, a carpet of stars stretches out before us. It is as if we have stepped from a quiet meadow into a vast forest of old, towering trees. The effect is peaceful and grand. Despite the crowd, each star holds its place calmly. None bursts with sudden flares, none races wildly across the sky. Instead, they maintain their courses with grace. There is something humbling about drifting here. Far below and around us, the entire galaxy turns ever so slowly, but on our timescale it seems still. We feel as if we are floating in the midst of timelessness. Every photon of light we see set out on its journey tens of thousands of years ago. Yet, as it reaches our view now, the scene it shows us is unchanged. If one of these stars were to fade or brighten, we would not notice for generations. We are mere visitors in a place where time is measured not in seconds or years, but in epochs. For us, time has slowed to a gentle crawl, matching the serenity of the surroundings. Even though every direction is filled with light, pockets of darkness still exist between the stars. Wisps of dust clouds drift by, like thin veils woven through the starry tapestry. These clouds catch some of the starlight, casting long shadows across the golden glow. When we sail through a denser patch of gas, the distant stars behind it vanish, creating little dusky holes in the brightness. It makes the scene look even more mysterious. Amid all this brilliance, there are hidden depths we cannot see. Each dark patch hints at another layer of secrets ahead. These veils of dust remind us that the galaxy's heart is not just lights and stars, but also shadow and concealment. They invite us onward, into places that have been invisible to us until now. In colour, this region would be a warm tapestry of russet and amber. The brightest stars cast a cinnamon glow. Many subtler lights are pale gold. There is a peaceful warmth to the hues, like the last light of sunset lingering on a forest. We even imagine that on a world here, the concept of night might disappear. The sky would never really go dark. Instead of darkness, the entire dome above would be filled with faint, perpetual twilight from all these suns. We would see the heavens glowing softly with ancient fire. This gives the bulge a cozy feeling, even in the vastness of space. Around us, the stars all follow gentle orbits. Each one loops around an invisible point far below. We sense that in these paths, something incredibly massive lies at the center, holding them in place. They swoop and curve, but none collide. Each has found a stable track, like lanes on a highway. Some trace almost perfect circles, moving with quiet dignity. Others swing in long ovals, speeding up when they come near their turning point, and slowing when they're farther away. We watch them drift in space around us, their slow motion almost imperceptible. If we sped up time 100 times, we would see them complete their circuits in mere years. But here and now, they appear motionless in their soft light. We remember that the stars we see here are ancient travelers. Many of them were born in the Milky Way's earliest days, perhaps when Earth itself was young. They've lived through collisions and close encounters, yet now they shine undisturbed. In their light, we detect elements heavier than hydrogen and helium, evidence of long ago supernovae that seeded this region with rock and metal. Every flash in their light holds a story of cosmic history. In this way, we feel as if we are drifting through a library of the galaxy's past, each star a chapter glowing before us. Before, in the outer arms of the galaxy, our journey took us through scenes of new stars and nebulae, where blue giants blazed. Here, all that vibrancy has given way to a calmer vista. It is as if we stepped from a lively city at daybreak into an ancient, quiet town at dusk. The pace of life seems slower. None of the intense blues are left. Instead, a more mellow population of suns dominates. This transition feels natural and continuous, yet the difference is profound. Where once we might have been dazzled, now we feel sedate. Our space cruiser blends into the atmosphere, a gentle guest among these elder stars. We recall that light takes an incredibly long time to get here. This region lies about 26,000 light-years away. The faint shimmer we see from each star actually began its journey before Earth was home to anything with a name. As we hover here now, that light finally meets our eyes. Every twinkle is a message from the distant past. In a sense, we are touching history, touching it softly, because the stars are so far away that their voices travel only as light. Even as we continue moving forward, what we see behind has been a portrait of the Milky Way, as it was long before our sun existed. The structure of the bulge is not perfectly round. In infrared maps of our galaxy, astronomers have found it is slightly stretched out, an elongated bar of stars. We are floating along one end of that bar. This means that to us, stars appear a bit more numerous in one direction than another. However, where we are, it feels fairly symmetric. If we had the ability to rise far above the plane, we would see the shape clearly, a glowing oval of stars. But from within it, the pattern is more subtle, a slight crowding one way, a little lightness the other. This discovery helps us understand why the glow around us might be just a touch uneven, adding quiet complexity to the view. Everywhere around us, as far as our instruments can show, we are immersed in stars and the dust that weaves between them. Together, they create a gentle, ambient light. It's as though the galaxy has placed 1,000 lanterns around us. If we turned off our engines and allowed the ship to drift silently, we would have no darkness. Even without a local sun, the sum of all that distant starlight ensures the darkness of space is filled with a soft illumination. It feels like floating in the midst of perennial twilight. In this environment, shadow and light intermingle in a way that is familiar yet strange. We feel secure in the gentle brightness, as if cradled in the galaxy's own glow. We pause to take in the scene. There is no hurry here, no sense of pressure. The ship's gentle hum is the only hint that we are moving. Around us, every star seems fixed, and the pattern of light is nearly static. If we listen with instruments sensitive enough, we might detect a distant radio whisper or infrared warmth. But to our eyes, it is silent harmony. The promise of discovery lies in the hidden shadows and in the steadiness of the stars. All signs point onward. The bulge has shown its splendor, and now it's time to explore what lies beyond its veil. Very slowly, we drift toward a new environment. The dense clustering of stars begins to give way. Ahead of us, the view grows dimmer as dust clouds gather more widely. In this transition, the golden glow of the stars behind starts to fade into the background. We feel ourselves passing from a well-lit hall into a shaded corridor. Behind us, the sea of stars still shines, but now the shadows in front grow longer and darker. Our passage is calm. It's as if we are leaving the warmth of a sunset and moving toward the cool of dusk. The scene is shifting, and we are ready to follow where it leads. A veil of dust and gas now envelops us. These clouds are made of the tiniest particles, bits of carbon, silicates, ice, far finer than grains of sand. They drift lazily through space around us. In visible light, they block and scatter the starlight, but they also add their own quiet presence. If we could see them up close, they would appear as faint glowing fog lit by hidden lanterns. Right now, they look like translucent wisps, tinted a dull grey-brown. As our ship moves through this cosmic mist, distant stars twinkle more faintly, their colours reddened. The view behind remains golden, but ahead it grows hazy. We feel like travellers creeping into an ancient attic filled with dusty air. Everything is soft and blurred around the edges. This region is far from empty. Within these clouds lie vast reservoirs of gas, mostly hydrogen, and even prebiotic molecules. These are the wombs of future stars. Somewhere among these veils, a new sun might already be gathering mass. We cannot see it yet, but we know that pockets within these clouds could collapse any time under their own gravity. If one did, it would glow from the inside out as it ignites. Imagine a baby star being born in one of these dark cradles, its light slowly eating through the dust around it. For now, though, the clouds remain mostly calm. They carry the raw ingredients of planets and perhaps life's chemistry. In fact, complex molecules like simple alcohols and sugars have been detected in similar clouds. We are quietly drifting through the galaxy's chemistry lab, where the spark of life's building blocks might be forming unseen. We might think of these clouds as the highway of the galaxy's atmosphere. Some of the gas in them is slowly spiraling into the center, feeding the hub with fresh material. Other parts are being gently pushed outward. At this distance, the tug of the supermassive black hole is subtle, but it is drawing gas inward. Meanwhile, the collective glow of all the dust and hydrogen is a very faint warmth if we had the right sensors. This region is filled with a mild radio hum, the collective murmur of many spinning dust grains and cold gas. In infrared light, these clouds would shine softly. We can imagine them as ghostly lanterns turning on, revealing their shapes, even though our eyes see only grey mist. If we translate it to infrared, we'd see colours and structures we don't see now. As we float deeper into the dust, light filters differently. Rays from stars leak through tiny gaps in the clouds, creating crepuscular beams in space. The effect is so subtle that we only sense a gentle dimming. If our ship had headlights, tiny dust motes would dance before us. In some patches, clouds are thinner and the stars peek through, like looking out through frosted glass. In other patches, they are thicker, almost black. It feels like moving through a forest at dawn, when pockets of fog occasionally let in sunlight. All around us is motion on a grand, slow scale. Yet for each moment, it feels utterly still. The only change is the gradual thickening of this haze as we continue on. We recall that even though this place seems cold and dark, it is far richer than a similar volume of space near Earth. Here, the gas density is thousands of times higher than in our local neighborhood. If we were to sum up all the material within a radius of 100 light-years around us, it would equal millions of suns in mass. But because it is so spread out, it barely registers as more than a wispy mist. This is the paradox of space. Enormous mass can feel inconsequential when diffused. For our ship, passing through it is effortless. We float without bumping into anything, yet we know we are carrying the weight of countless distant stars' worth of gas and dust with us. Observatories back on Earth reveal that this region glows in non-visible ways. Infrared telescopes show soft glowing patches where our eyes see darkness. Radio dishes detect cool hydrogen gas extending in giant arcs. X-ray eyes find hot spots where past explosions heated the gas to millions of degrees. Those signals confirm what we suspect but cannot see. The core is alive in many wavelengths. If we could tune our vision, each waveband would tell a different story. Together, they paint a complete picture of this veiled realm. Here in the ship, we can only imagine it, like listening to an orchestra where each instrument plays a different tune that our ears cannot hear. Our passage through the dust and gas is surprisingly quiet and smooth. There is no turbulence or jolting. It's as if we are gliding through a still, heavy fog. The ship's instruments report no pressure or drag. Time itself feels unhurried. The only motion is our own, which is very slight. In this gentle environment, we have time to appreciate the details. Faint wisps drift lazily, clouds expand and contract imperceptibly, and the light from behind continues its soft shimmer. We feel a sense of calm exploration, safe within the protective cloak of these clouds. They have softened the glare of the stars and prepared our senses for what lies ahead. Even as the clouds grow denser, we keep moving. Slowly, the stellar background dims further. Now it's mostly the glow of gas itself that illuminates our way. Nebulae rise around us, like pale fireworks frozen in space, glowing in muted green and pink if we could see. They look like cosmic jellyfish, floating with trailing tendrils of light. These shapes were once sculpted by powerful events long ago, maybe the blasts of ancient supernova, or winds from very massive stars. Even now, they linger as silent monuments. All around, the scene is hauntingly beautiful. We are in a quiet shadowland at the Milky Way's core, full of secrets that stretch far beyond what our eyes show. Yet it is no less enchanting. It feels like a soft lullaby of the galaxy, inviting us into its depths. Behind these clouds, higher energy processes have carved their mark. Up above the plane, the galaxy's core breathed out enormous bubbles of particles that rise silently into space. These Fermi bubbles, half-remembered giants, pour faint gamma rays upwards. While we do not see them, we imagine two great domes extending over the galaxy's poles, like giant lungs exhaling. They glow only in invisible light, but their presence is there in our knowledge. We can sense that some of their influence may still reach this region. Perhaps if we had instruments, we would detect a tiny upward drift, or a slight magnetic field stretching overhead. As we drift through the mist, it's as if we have temporarily stepped out of reach of the core's wind, coasting on our inertia. But we know that just beyond these clouds, the ancient breath of the galaxy is still moving. Compared to swirling lines in water, the gas here flows gently. We have been riding on an unseen current from the centre. Now the flow has slowed, and the swirling dust is our main company. Through the haze, a barely perceptible breeze might still be felt in the ship's sensors. It is a gentle push in the gas, like a soft wake. We know this is the remnant of the wind we encountered farther out, whispering faintly as it falls away. In a way, we are like driftwood in a slow-moving stream. The wind carried us this far, but it has become a murmur. We pay it no mind now, our focus shifting back to the silence and stars. The galaxy's breath has done its work. Now gravity will take the lead in what comes next. Now, past the dark curtains of dust, we enter a region where the only lights are the stars themselves. The environment has opened up again. The clouds have thinned, revealing once more the starry environment. But this time, the stars nearby move with purpose. We notice points of light tracing graceful loops around an invisible center. The gentle cosmic fog has fallen away, and in its place, we see these bright specks on the sky, the stars whose orbits define the core. It is as if we have emerged from the gallery of shadows into the amphitheater of motion. The stars around us resume the central stage, and we glide among them once again, this time guided by the pull that controls their dance. Each star we now observe follows a path determined by an unseen weight at the center. Some wheel around in nearly perfect circles. Others trace long, narrow ellipses. All move steadily, never wavering from their lanes. It is remarkably orderly. We imagine that if our journey were sped up, these stars would race along their orbits, slipping past one another like skaters on an ice rink. But on our human timescale, they appear almost frozen. We listen only with our eyes, watching them hold their positions in the sky as if painted on the canvas of space. Each star is a dancer in a vast ballet, and gravity is the silent music guiding their steps. One star in particular is known for completing its loop quickly. If we could watch for decades, it would swing tightly around the center and return. At closest approach, it would be moving at a sizable fraction of light speed. Right now, it looks like just a point of light among others, but we know it travels thousands of kilometers per second at its fastest. If we could tag along on that star, we would feel an immense pull as it whips around. That thought gives us both reverence and calm. Reverence for the power we are approaching, and calm because we remain safely far from the gravitational grip. From here, all those dizzying speeds feel like a slow waltz, but we know the truth of the motion hidden beneath that serenity. Every one of these orbits follows the same rule. Each path is sculpted by the black hole's gravity and the curvature of space itself. Albert Einstein's predictions come to life here. Time near the center ticks just a bit slower compared to farther out. Light bends and twists along each orbit's edge. As the stars swing around their nearest approach to the center, we would see them brighten and change color slightly if we had the instruments. Each moment near that point would be stretched a little. Then, as they move away, things fall back to normal. This is simply the nature of space-time in such a strong field. It would seem like careful clockwork if one could experience it. a world where gravity directly slows the beat of time itself. Astronomers on Earth have spent years watching these stars. By tracking their paths, they were able to deduce exactly how much mass must sit at the center to hold them in orbit. Even from afar, they could tell it is far too much mass to be any ordinary object. Their measurements implied a compact object millions of times more massive than the Sun. They named it Sagittarius A. Here, we see why. Each orbital curve, each speed, tells us that nearly 4 million solar masses are packed into an area smaller than our solar system. All the stellar light we see is just icing on the cake. The stars themselves are test particles, effortlessly tracing out the shape of the gravitational well that dominates this region. Remarkably, none of these stars will collide. Despite how many there are, they remain on separate tracks. The average distance between them is so large compared to their sizes that they miss each other by enormous margins. Even if two orbits cross, the stars might be millions of kilometers apart along those paths. They orbit with such speed that by the time one swoops through a point, another has long since passed. It's a delicate dance of timing and distance. We can imagine dozens of these stars looping around, weaving past, yet never touching. It is like watching a flock of starlings that never collide. The choreography is elegant and stable. We notice some puzzling oddities among these stars. A few are not like the rest. For example, there are clusters of very young, hot stars in the mix. Out here in the past, no one expected to find many newborn suns, especially so close to a black hole. These stars are like fireflies in a still forest. They glow brightly, but seem out of place. Astronomers believe they were born maybe in the last few million years. How did they get here? And how did they form? We cannot answer now, but we acknowledge their presence with a sense of wonder. They add mystery. This is not just an old graveyard of stars, but also a cradle of new ones in unlikely places. Even stranger are some lone outcasts. A few stars whiz by on orbits, tilted sharply compared to the main disk. They almost come in at odd angles, suggesting a turbulent past. They might be the survivors of star clusters that fell in at strange inclinations. And then there are the compact remnants we cannot see, dead stars in forms like neutron stars or black holes of their own. They orbit silently without giving off visible light. If one of these remnants passed through a clump of gas, it might flare briefly, but generally they move unseen. We drift past these ghosts, never noticing, yet knowing they are there. In the heart of this region lies a population of invisible mass as well, quietly adding to the gravitational story. We recall that on the outskirts of the galaxy, the stellar neighborhoods were sparse. Out here, it's the opposite. If one of these stars had planets, its night sky would be infinitely busy. For a hypothetical observer on a world here, dozens of bright stars might be close enough to cast shadows at once. Still, any planet in this neighborhood would have a very short night, constantly awash in starlight. Conditions for life as we know it would be extreme. But the point is, the stars around us are so plentiful that the concept of solitude in the sky would vanish. We on our ship are as solitary as one can be in this company. The only other neighbor we see is the ship itself, but even it is bathed in all this ambient light. Through all these orbits and oddities, one truth becomes clear. Everything is being drawn toward the same center. Each path, no matter how eccentric or inclined, seems to converge toward a point just ahead. We can sense it. It feels like the stars are guiding us inward, urging us forward. It is gravity's pull, and now it is guiding us too. We have been carried by the stars' dance so far. Now we prepare ourselves to step up to their center stage. The stars have illuminated the way. Now it is time for us to meet the master of the performance. Here at last is the place we've approached from all sides, the heart of the Milky Way's soul. Before us lies nothing visible, an emptiness punctuated by the faint glow of infrared light. This is the threshold of the central engine, the abyss at whose boundary the rules of nature warp. Around that dark point swirl a tiny ring of warm gas, lit from within by nothing and everything. Encircling the circle of darkness is a crowd of stars, higher density than anywhere we have been. Even the background stars appear slightly distorted as their light bends. Space itself seems drawn inward here, as if our canvas of stars has been stretched by a finger pointing from below. We have arrived at Sagittarius A, the name given to this gravitational behemoth. It is a supermassive black hole millions of times the Sun's mass, but it is quiet now. Today, it gives off little light. Occasionally, clouds of gas fall too close and are heated to brilliance in X-rays or radio. But for now, it only offers a gentle radio pulse. It hums to us quietly, a distant lullaby of radiation at wavelengths we cannot see. The black hole holds our galaxy together, yet it reveals itself only through the motions of its companions. We stand at its doorstep in awe, knowing that all we have seen here revolves around that unseen point. Time itself would behave oddly at the exact edge of that darkness. Clocks, right at the point of no return, would tick slower compared to our distant ship. Light that leaves from that boundary is stretched to longer wavelengths as well. Every orbit, every ray of light near that edge is being slowed and stretched. But on our scale, these effects are barely perceptible. Here, they set the stage for the extraordinary. We feel a sense of suspension, as if even time pauses with us for a moment. It is as if we are on the verge of stepping into a different realm of physics, one just beyond the veil. No chapter truly ends here. This is a threshold. We linger only briefly, taking in the significance of this place. The journey that began outside the spiral arms has brought us to this point without fanfare. There is no dramatic explosion or grand finale waiting. Instead, there is quiet expectancy. We will not conclude the story here. We will simply continue onward, crossing the boundary into the black hole's domain. Already, we feel the pull that will lead us deeper. We approach with measured calm. The stars have guided us, and their pattern now fades as they circle us one last time. The darkness of the black hole does not come forth to meet us. We carry on, knowing that nothing luminous can escape. Instead of fear, we feel a serene determination. Our quest is not yet over. The final act lies just beyond. The silence here is profound, filled only with the hum of our curiosity. We take a collective breath and glide forward into the galaxy's final secret. From the depths of the galaxy's dusty veil, we approach the secrets of the central darkness. After wandering through glittering arms and luminous clouds, our journey has carried us ever inward into a realm of mystery. Far ahead, hidden behind clouds of interstellar dust, lies a silent giant. We cannot see it with our eyes, but like the slowly unfurling darkness of dawn, it becomes known to us through gentle hints. Our voyage has led us to the heart of the Milky Way, where a vast hush settles over space and only whispers remain. In the very center of this hush stands a silent giant, Sagittarius A. This supermassive black hole is the hidden heart of our galaxy. It's not easy to see. Thick clouds of interstellar dust and gas block our view. But the giant still speaks, if we listen in the right way. In the 1930s, a radio antenna first detected a faint, steady hiss from the direction of Sagittarius. Only much later did scientists realize the source, an enormous object well concealed in the Milky Way's core. Today, advanced telescopes with infrared eyes tell us that this giant holds more than 4 million times the mass of our Sun. All that mass is squeezed into a region smaller than our solar system, so intense that not even light can escape its grasp. Around this sleeping giant, a breathtaking cosmic ballet unfolds. Dozens of stars circle in silence, each tracing its own winding path in the dark. Hidden by dust and only glowing faintly in infrared light, these stars reveal the black hole's presence through their motion. One such star we follow completes an orbit in just 16 years, racing along at unimaginable speed when it swings by. Others move even faster, sometimes reaching a significant fraction of the speed of light. Each star is like a dancer in the dark, held in a tight gravitational grip by the giant. As we watch this strange dance, we also begin to listen for the soft music of gravity itself. Einstein taught us that moving masses send ripples through space-time, faint and subtle. These gravitational waves carry stories of cosmic collisions. In 2015, detectors on Earth heard the first such whisper from two black holes merging far away. The ripples travelled for billions of years before reaching us as a tiny tremble. Here at our galaxy's centre, the black hole slumbers quietly, so we do not expect it to sing these waves anytime soon. But even without hearing those, we sense the black hole's pull in other ways. Even light itself carries whispers of the black hole's gravity. When a star swings close, its light loses a little energy climbing out of the deep well, stretching just as Einstein predicted. We have even measured this subtle reddening of the star's light, a delicate confirmation of relativity. Gravity also bends light like a lens, so that stars hidden behind the core can sometimes be distorted or magnified. In these gentle clues, we feel the silent giant's tug, even without hearing those distant waves. Even at the core, light sometimes finds a way to shine. The Event Horizon Telescope, a globe-spanning set of radio dishes, has even photographed Sagittarius A. In that image, we see a ring of glowing plasma framing a dark shadow, the black hole's silhouette. At other times, we watch the black hole flare briefly in X-rays and infrared, as if it sparks to life. Recently, the James Webb Space Telescope caught the first mid-infrared flare from the center, a crimson spark in the inky night. Around the hole, hundreds of massive young stars crowd together. These giants blaze in infrared light, forming a brilliant star cluster that lights the darkness. Beyond the core, enormous bubbles of energetic light appear, ghostly markers of ancient fury. Telescopes like Fermi and Rosetta have revealed these two colossal lobes of gamma rays and X-rays, soaring above and below the Milky Way's disk. They stretch tens of thousands of light years into the sky, remnants of a great outburst long ago. Astronomers think these bubbles were blown by a powerful jet from the black hole a few million years in the past. Today they glow faintly, like embers of a fire now fading, reminding us that this quiet center was once wild with power. Now, Standing at the very heart of our galaxy, we realize we have come far. All the wonders we have witnessed, the silent giant, the dancing stars, the faint echoes of gravity, and the glimmering light of ancient outbursts, converge here. Though cloaked in darkness, the core is alive with stories. It helped forge the Milky Way's past and still guides its future. This quiet center influences everything. It shepherds the stars, stirs the gas, and even shapes the galaxy's destiny in ways we are only beginning to understand. Its supermassive black hole is like an ancient storyteller, whispering secrets mixed with starlight. In its shadow, we feel both awe and curiosity. Yet this heart of the galaxy is not an end, but a new beginning. As we linger on its edge, we feel a silent invitation to continue. The cosmic night still stretches out beyond, filled with mysteries yet to be explored. Beyond the core lie more secrets of our galaxy, quiet and patient, waiting for us to discover them. Our voyage has only just begun. The Milky Way has many chapters left to reveal. And so we carry with us the silent giant stories and the stars' gentle light, moving onward into the deep and tranquil night, ever curious about what lies ahead. After a long and extraordinary journey through the Milky Way's spiral arms, we finally arrive at the threshold of the galactic core. Here, the night is ablaze with starlight. All around us, countless suns crowd the sky, far denser than any star field we have seen before. The combined glow of millions of stars merges into a diffuse golden radiance that bathes the cosmic landscape. We have reached the beating heart of our galaxy, a place both awe-inspiring and mysterious. The sight here is almost beyond words. We are immersed in a true sea of stars, so numerous and so bright that darkness itself nearly disappears. In every direction, pinpoints of light overlap and blend, forming a continuous shimmer. Some stars burn with a soft ruby glow, old red giants casting their warmth into space. Others shine in piercing blue-white, younger suns blazing fiercely. Their colours and lights merge into a golden-white panorama that surrounds us completely. It feels as if we are floating inside a luminous nebula made of starlight, with hardly any void left between the points of light. At the very centre of this brilliant chaos lurks something truly profound. A supermassive black hole known as Sagittarius A. Invisible to the eye, it makes its presence known by the dance of the stars around it. We cannot see the black hole itself. It is a void where even light is trapped. But we sense its influence everywhere. Stars whip around an unseen point, orbiting at tremendous speeds, as if compelled by a powerful conductor. This dark heart of the galaxy holds the mass of millions of suns in a space no larger than a tiny fraction of a single star system. In fact, the entire black hole would fit comfortably within the orbit of Mercury, one of the innermost planets of our solar system. It is a gravitational giant, silent and unseen, yet it rules this entire cosmic city. Drifting closer, we notice a gentle glow encircling the darkness, a halo of gas and dust whirling around the black hole. This faint ring is the last light escaping, heated to millions of degrees as it spirals inward. It paints a surreal picture, a blurry, luminous band wrapped around an empty shadow, like an eclipse that never ends. Occasionally, a burst of energy flickers from this maelstrom, a brief flare as the black hole devours a clump of matter. We watch in silent wonder as light itself bends around the void, distorted by gravity. If we align ourselves just right, the black hole's gravity can warp the light of a star directly behind it into a perfect circle, a glowing ring encircling the darkness. Such ghostly halos appear and vanish in our view, an optical illusion created by the extreme warp of spacetime near the black hole. Here, space itself is curved and strange. The usual rules of light and distance seem to falter near this mysterious abyss. All around the black hole, the galactic core teems with activity. Dense swarms of stars surround us, many of them ancient and red, survivors from the galaxy's youth. Their mellow light mingles with the sharp blue-white glow of younger stars that somehow thrive even in this tumultuous region. Everywhere we look, stars of all ages and colours are packed in together, sharing this crowded central space. Interwoven with these stars are colossal clouds of dust and gas, drifting through the core and catching the starlight. Their glow creates a hazy backdrop that in turn conceals the core from distant eyes. Indeed, from Earth's vantage, this brilliant hub is hidden behind overlapping veils of cosmic dust. But here, at the very doorstep of the galaxy's centre, that veil has parted. We can see the heart of the Milky Way, unveiled in all its splendour, a privilege reserved for our unique journey. For centuries, the heart of the Milky Way was an enigma to us on Earth. We saw only a faint patch of light amid the Sagittarius stars, unaware that behind it lay a bustling cosmic city. Only in recent decades have we learned to pierce that darkness with special telescopes sensitive to radio waves and infrared light, which can slip through the dust. Bit by bit, those instruments revealed a hidden realm beyond our sight. Astronomers began to notice stars near the galactic centre behaving strangely, whipping around an apparently empty void at tremendous speeds. By tracking their orbits over years, scientists realized that only a supermassive black hole could exert such a gravitational grip. Eventually, humanity even captured an image of the black hole's silhouette, encircled by a glowing ring of gas. What was once a matter of theory and speculation now stands confirmed. And here we are on our journey, gazing upon the Milky Way's once hidden heart with our own eyes, its timeless secrets laid open before us. It is hard to grasp the extremes of this place. The gravity, the density of stars, the sheer scale, all push the limits of our understanding. If we could stand on a world here, the night sky would never be truly dark. So many stars surround that hypothetical planet that their collective glow would turn night into a perpetual twilight. You could read a book by starlight on such a world. Thousands of brilliant suns would crowd the heavens, each so near that they outshine the familiar constellations we know. Night and day would blur together in a ceaseless golden dusk. It is a scene both beautiful and strange, a sky filled with countless suns, nurturing an everlasting cosmic glow. Some of these stars in the core race through space at mind-boggling speeds. We spot one on a tight, elongated orbit, whipping perilously close to the black hole before slingshotting far out again. Incredibly, it completes a full circuit in only a few years, a blink of an eye by galactic standards. At its fastest, this star hurtles along at a velocity we can scarcely imagine, a testament to the powerful gravity holding sway here in the core. Time itself is distorted in this domain. The closer one ventures to the black hole, the slower a clock would tick compared to the outside universe. In this realm, reality stretches and bends, quietly reminding us of the cosmic secrets hidden in the heart of the galaxy. Though the black hole rests quietly now, it was not always so tranquil. There are whispers of ancient fury preserved in the surrounding space. High above and below the galactic center, scientists have discovered gigantic bubbles of energy billowing outward. Subtle glows of gamma rays stretching tens of thousands of light years into the void. These ethereal structures are like cosmic footprints, evidence that long ago the Milky Way's core unleashed powerful storms of radiation. In those distant epochs, our galaxy's heart must have blazed with a ferocity beyond anything we see today, blowing enormous cosmic bubbles into the galactic halo. Now only their faint afterglow remains, a testament to dramatic chapters in the core's history that we can scarcely imagine. Standing here at the galaxy's heart, we begin to feel how deeply it is tied to the rest of the Milky Way. This core is not an isolated realm at all, but the pivot of a vast cosmic dance. Every star in the galaxy, even our distant sun, is bound to this center, moving along its path over eons under the gentle pull of the core's gravity. Invisible lines of force link the nucleus to the farthest spiral arm, stitching the Milky Way together into one immense family of stars. Through these unseen bonds, the galactic center quietly governs the motions of all its far-flung children, keeping our island universe in a beautiful, unified harmony. As we contemplate the core, we recognize how intimately every part of the galaxy is intertwined. The colossal black hole and the surrounding stars are not isolated at all. They are essential to the Milky Way's grand design. In fact, the galaxy and its heart seem to grow together over cosmic time, each subtly influencing the other. Astronomers find that across the universe, larger galaxies tend to harbor larger central black holes, as if a cosmic pact exists. As a galaxy grows, so too does its heart. As billions of stars have formed and died in the spiral arms, the central black hole has quietly feasted on stray gas and star remnants, increasing its mass. It is a delicate balance. Energy from exploding stars and stellar winds pushes outward, while gravity draws matter inward toward the core. Through this continuous push and pull, the Milky Way maintains its beautiful spiral structure, everything connected in a vast, dynamic equilibrium. Even now, we can sense this harmony. The light and winds from stars gently press outward, while the core's gravity softly tugs inward, together keeping the great star city of our galaxy intact. The connections extend far beyond our galactic borders. Our Milky Way is just one member of a larger family of galaxies drifting through space together. Along with the great Andromeda galaxy and numerous smaller dwarf galaxies, such as the Magellanic Clouds, we form a cluster known as the Local Group. All these stellar systems are bound by a shared gravitational embrace, slowly orbiting a common center as if engaged in a gentle cosmic waltz. Even now, on a clear night, the Andromeda galaxy can be seen from Earth as a faint, blurry patch of light, a sprawling island of stars, like our own, hovering just beyond the boundaries of the Milky Way. Our galaxy is not alone in the darkness. It drifts through space accompanied by others, bound together by gravity into communities. In the extremely distant future, our Milky Way and Andromeda are destined to meet. Billions of years from now, they will swirl together and merge into one, their stars mingling and their cores eventually coalescing. There is no cause for alarm. This cosmic collision will unfold in slow motion over eons, utterly imperceptible on any human timescale. When it finally completes, new stars may be born from the gases that mix, and the night sky of that far future world will be painted with a different tapestry of starlight. Even at the grandest scales, the universe shows us that nothing exists in isolation. Everything is connected, interacting and evolving like a living cosmic ecosystem. Our local group itself is only one gathering in a much larger structure. The Milky Way and Andromeda, along with dozens of other galaxies, drift within the outskirts of the Virgo supercluster, a vast collection of galaxy clusters. And even that supercluster is just a thread in the immense cosmic web that stretches in all directions. On scales almost beyond imagination, galaxies are linked by filaments of gravity and dark matter, an ever-expanding tapestry of connection and structure. It seems that everywhere we look in the universe, we find patterns of togetherness, a grand design of systems within systems. On a more personal scale, we discover that even we are part of these cosmic connections. Consider the very elements of our bodies. They were forged long ago inside stars. Imagine a time before our sun was born. A massive star lived in this region of the galaxy, shining brilliantly for millions of years. Eventually, that star exhausted its fuel and died in a spectacular supernova explosion. In that fiery blast, new elements were created: iron, calcium, carbon, and more, the fundamental ingredients of life. The star's contents were strewn across space, enriching the galaxy with heavy elements that had been forged in its heart. Eons later, those scattered atoms became part of a vast cloud of gas and dust, the very cloud that condensed to form our solar system. Our sun, our Earth, and every living thing on it are built from this recycled stardust. The calcium in our bones, the iron in our blood, the oxygen we breathe, all were crafted in stellar furnaces and spread through the galaxy by stellar winds and explosions. In a very literal sense, we are made of star stuff. When we gaze up at the Milky Way, we are looking into our own cosmic origins. We are children of the galaxy, woven from the same cosmic tapestry that twinkles above us. For a while, we linger at the galactic center, reluctant to depart from such wonder. We float in silent awe, committing the sight to memory. The swarming stars, the glowing nebulae, the gentle whirl of light around the dark heart. It is hard to turn away, but our journey must continue. Our home lies far out in the quiet suburbs of this galaxy, and it calls us back. With a final, reverent glance at the brilliant core, we prepare to leave this cosmic metropolis and begin the long voyage home. Enriched by all we have seen, we gently turn our ship for home. The time has come to bid farewell to the galactic core and journey back to our own little corner of the Milky Way. With one last look at the radiant central glow receding behind us, we set out across the sea of stars once more, homeward bound. Leaving the bustling core behind, we glide outward into the quieter stretches of the galaxy. Gradually, the blinding throng of stars begins to thin. The golden glow of the central bulge grows smaller with distance, turning into a bright haze at our back. Ahead of us, the spiral arms unspool once more like great rivers of starlight curving through space. Patches of deep darkness reappear between clusters of stars as we leave the crowded hub. We are retracing our path now, traversing the familiar star lanes of the Milky Way on our return journey. The light around us is gentler here. The frenzy of the core is fading into the calm of the galactic suburbs. In a sense, we are leaving the galaxy's downtown and heading back to its quiet outskirts. In the core, The stars were as crowded and bright as city lights at midnight. Out here, we return to the galactic countryside, where the stellar population thins and true night falls again. The transition feels peaceful, the hectic brilliance of the core giving way to the gentle solitude of the outer galaxy. As we sail through the inner galaxy, we are greeted by sights of serene beauty. We drift past luminous nebulae that bloom in the darkness with soft colour, vast clouds of gas where new stars are being born. In one such cloud, the Lagoon Nebula, clusters of bright young stars nestle in rosy swirls of glowing gas. Their newborn light paints the surrounding nebula in ethereal pinks and blues, like a cosmic sunrise frozen in time. Farther along, we slip into the great dark lanes of dust that ribbon through the galactic plane. These colossal clouds of fine particles block the starlight behind them, creating the dark gaps we see from Earth, cutting across the Milky Way's band. Up close, these dark nebulae are not empty at all. They are thick with potential, harbouring the raw materials for future stars. We glide through them like a ship through fog, the distant lights of the galaxy dimming as we pass through these cosmic clouds. Eventually, we emerge back into clearer star fields, continuing ever outward. We pass by a glittering swarm of stars high above the galactic plane, a globular cluster hanging like a jeweled lantern in the night. It contains hundreds of thousands of ancient suns packed into a dense sphere, all held together by their mutual gravity. They shine with a steady, golden light, some of the oldest stars in the galaxy, remembering a time when the Milky Way was young. As we watch this cluster recede behind us, we are reminded of how many generations of stars have come and gone in our galaxy's long history. Each cluster, each nebula, each star we pass is a chapter in the Milky Way's story, and we have been privileged to glimpse a few pages on this voyage. The farther we travel, the more the vista begins to resemble the skies of home. Familiar star patterns gradually reassemble themselves. Constellations that were distorted by our changing perspective now start to regain their familiar shapes. We notice the outline of Orion the Hunter coming together once again. The 3 stars of his belt aligning as they should, accompanied by his bright shoulder and knee stars. These are the same patterns our distant ancestors once traced in the heavens. It is as if the stars themselves recognize we are nearing home, arranging back into the comforting figures we know. As the constellation Orion settles into place, we notice a hazy patch in his sword that glows softly. Up close, this cloud reveals itself as the Great Orion Nebula, an immense stellar nursery. Tendrils of luminous gas spread out in shades of purple and red, illuminated from within by clusters of newborn stars. This nebula, barely visible as a tiny smudge from Earth, is here, a sprawling glowing cavern in space, a place where new suns and planets are being forged. We pause to admire its tranquil beauty before continuing on, mindful of the creative fires that quietly burn throughout our galaxy. Soon a gentle beacon appears among the stars ahead, our sun, shining with a warm, steady light. From this distance, it is just one star among many, but as we approach, it grows brighter and more distinct. Gradually, we begin to make out the family of planets that circle the sun. At the far fringes of the solar system, we pass the orbit of Neptune and glimpse that distant world's deep blue hue. Not far inward lies Uranus, a pale aquamarine orb tipped on its side, encircled by faint rings. Soon Saturn comes into view, its splendid rings draped around it, shimmering softly in the sunlight like a cosmic jewel. Closer still, Jupiter dominates our vista, a striped giant with swirling cloud bands and a centuries-old great red storm. One by one, These outer planets silently welcome us back, each a majestic world, orbiting peacefully in the sun's embrace. Drifting further inward, we leave the realm of the giants and head toward the inner solar system, where our home awaits. As we continue inward, we pass through the realm of icy wanderers far from the sun. Countless comets and frozen fragments drift here in the dark, leftovers from the solar system's birth. One of these ancient travelers catches our eye, a comet stirring from its slumber. It sprouts a faint tail of gas and dust as it gradually falls toward the inner solar system. In the stillness, we watch its pale, misty glow trailing behind, a silent herald that one day will grace Earth's skies as a shimmering visitor before retreating again into the depths. Finally, we cross the orbit of Mars and see ahead the small blue beacon of Earth. It grows from a tiny dot into a radiant globe as we approach. Blue oceans and white clouds swirling over sunlit continents. Our Earth, that fragile, life-bearing oasis in the vastness, shines like a sapphire in the darkness of space. We home in on our world, hearts swelling with recognition and relief. Before long, we are close enough to make out the outlines of coastlines beneath drifting clouds. We have returned to the vicinity of our planet, our journey nearly complete. For a moment, we simply hover above our beautiful blue planet, taking in the sight. On the night side of Earth, clusters of city lights twinkle like orange stars on the surface below, mirroring the constellations above. A thin halo of atmosphere hugs the planet's edge, glowing softly with twilight. In the silence of space, our world looks exceedingly fragile and precious, a tiny, living jewel floating in the cosmic dark. Our hearts swell with quiet joy and relief at the sight of home. We slip back into Earth's protective embrace, descending gently through the atmosphere. Faint wisps of cloud streak past our vessel as the air grows warmer. The blue oceans and green forests take shape below, dim in the dusk. Night has fallen by the time we touch down on solid ground. Stepping onto familiar soil, we feel a soft breeze carrying the comforting scent of earth and grass. We are home at last, under the endless sky. Above us arches the luminous band of the Milky Way, serene and familiar. Out here on a quiet night, far from any city lights, it spills across the sky like a silver river. Millions of distant suns weave their faint light together into a delicate glow that stretches from horizon to horizon. The densest part of the band forms a bright bulge toward the south, the direction of the galactic center we ventured to, now hidden behind clouds of interstellar dust. That glow is the combined light of countless stars, so far away that their individual points blur into a continuous haze. We know now what lies at that core beyond our sight, and the memory of our journey makes the sight of it even more profound. All around us, Earth is hushed and still. A gentle breeze whispers through the grass, and somewhere in the darkness a cricket chirps. The ground beneath us is cool and firm after so long spent in the void of space. We lie back, feeling the solid comfort of home beneath our bodies, even as our eyes roam upward into the infinite. We draw a slow, deep breath of the cool night air. It carries the fresh scent of soil and grass, instantly familiar and reassuring. The contrast is soothing. The vast, silent cosmos above, and the warm, living earth below. Here on the ground, we feel safe and rooted, even while our thoughts continue to drift among the stars. The Milky Way above is no longer just a distant ribbon of light. It has become a place we know intimately. Every misty patch and sparkling cluster in that band holds a story we've witnessed. We can trace the path of our voyage across it, from the quiet outskirts where our sun resides, inward, past stellar nurseries and ancient clusters, all the way to the radiant core hidden far behind the veil. As we gaze up now, a profound sense of connection washes over us. That faint band of light is our galactic home seen from within, and we have travelled through its depths in our imagination. The sky tonight is both familiar and transformed by our experience, enriched by the knowledge of what lies beyond each tiny glimmer. Humans have always felt the magic of this starry band. Long before we understood what it was, people gave the Milky Way many names and stories. Some called it the backbone of night, imagining it as the support of the heavens. Others saw a river of milk spilled across the sky, or a path for the souls of ancestors. Though we now know it is a multitude of distant stars, the sense of wonder it inspires remains the same. Under this shared sky, generation after generation has gazed upward in awe, feeling small yet comforted by the great canopy of the Milky Way. Our journey through the galaxy leaves us with a new perspective. We have witnessed wonders on a scale almost beyond comprehension, yet we do not feel lost or insignificant. Instead, we feel enriched and comforted. The same universe that can seem cold and immense is also our home and cradle. We are a part of it, connected to its stars and nebulae, its past and its future. Knowing this fills us with a gentle sense of belonging. Under the canopy of night, it becomes clear that our existence is intertwined with the cosmos in countless subtle ways. We are not outsiders looking in. We are threads in the fabric of the universe, intimately woven into the story of the Milky Way. We think of the secrets we uncovered and the mysteries that remain. There is still so much we do not know about our galaxy, so many questions left unanswered, deep mysteries waiting quietly in the darkness. Yet this realization brings not fear, but a calm wonder. The unknown is something to ponder gently, a reminder of the endless possibilities that lie beyond the reach of our current understanding. In this vast cosmic ocean, we explored just one path tonight. There are infinitely more paths among the stars, each with its own beauty and secrets, patiently awaiting future explorers. Perhaps one day, far in the future, travelers will venture in person to the places we visited in our imagination. Future generations may roam among the stars and witness the galactic core firsthand. But even if we ourselves never venture beyond Earth, we have seen tonight how our minds and spirits can carry us across the cosmos. Every time we look up at the night sky, we embark on a journey of wonder. In a way, simply gazing at the stars is a form of travelling, a voyage of the heart into the great beyond, without ever leaving home. We consider, too, that we may not be alone in appreciating this grandeur. Somewhere, on a distant planet, circling another star, there might be other eyes turned skyward, beholding this same Milky Way band from a far-off land. In that thought lies a gentle kinship, the possibility that the wonder we feel is shared across the light years. In the vast night of space, under the same galaxy, any living beings are all siblings of a sort, connected by the sky we share. As we lie here beneath the stars, those distant lights silently keep watch over our world. The Milky Way arches overhead, the same cosmic river of light that has guided and comforted humankind for ages. We close our eyes for a moment and feel the earth turning beneath us, a gentle reminder that we are part of a greater cosmic dance. In this stillness, a deep peace washes over us. The galaxy carries on in its majestic rhythm, and we are safely home, a small, unique part of this grand design. Our voyage has come full circle, from Earth to the galactic core and back again. Now, wrapped in the familiar embrace of our home world and the eternal night sky, we can simply be. We are peaceful, we are content, and we are grateful. Above us, the Milky Way continues to shimmer softly, as it will through this night and every night to come. Our journey for now is at an end, but the story of the cosmos goes on, always ready to welcome us back whenever we wish to wander again among the stars.